The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Backtracks.
A guy, one of those social media types, a guy did some very detailed math involving his current girlfriend's sexual past. Not that it's any of his business. I want to make that very clear. One of my biggest pet peeves is when your current girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever the situation, when they think that your sexual past is their business. Big pet peeve of mine. But this guy, I guess, sat down with a pencil and paper.
When I was younger, I was more curious. Like when I had dated somebody, when I was maybe teens and 20s, I was a little more curious. Now I don't care. Like I know my wife's number is staggering, probably more than mine.
Probably?
Probably.
Most likely.
There's a lot of work in that sentence.
You probably should ask.
I don't know what you guys
Josh.
are saying about my wife, but whatever it is, you're right.
Oh, that was to say more about you.
No, I'm decent. I'm fine with mine. I mean, it's not going to shatter or anything, but I'm fine enough where I don't feel like, boy, did I miss out. Boy, I got married too early.
When you were younger, you were, what was the word you used? Curious.
I was more curious.
Slash jealous?
Not necessarily jealous.
It's only natural when you're a young person.
But if it was like, okay, this is going to sound stupid, but if it was really high, I'd kind of think, well, I mean nothing to this person, just another number, I kind of had that feeling, and I don't know, sorry about the phlegm. I get phlegmy when I'm nervous about a conversation. But I don't know what changed, but something changed in my late 20s, early 30s where I just didn't care at all.
Yeah.
Maybe just because by then, everybody's got, a pretty decent number.
Everybody's got a past.
I stopped caring once somebody told me theirs was like in the 40s, and that was the highest number I ever heard. And I thought, oh, well, that doesn't bother me. So, okay, I guess I don't really care anymore.
I never cared, never asked. So a guy sat down, again, maybe out of jealousy, curiosity, throw a few other words into the mix, and he wanted to, I guess, know and figure every exhausting detail on his girlfriend's sexual past. This is how it started. He made some post on that godless social media, and he said, my drunk-ass girlfriend told me she had sex with over 200 guys.
That's a big number.
That's pretty large.
Mm-hmm.
That's kid stuff.
Wow.
You've had sex with more than 200 guys? That was a joke that a former coworker of ours would have told.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's true. You totally...
I wonder why they're former.
You channeled one of our ex-coworkers right there.
That was his thing.
Where whenever a guy made any kind of braggadocious statement about his past, our ex-coworker would do a gay joke.
Yeah.
That was his thing. That was his move every time.
The most common one he'd say is if I said, I met a girl at the bar last night and, we were intimate. He'd say, I screwed it up. I took someone home from the bar last night.
I took someone home.
And he'd say, what was his name?
Da, 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 da. That's where the joke kicks in.
Constantly,
Oh,
over and over and over.
You got me. That's brilliant.
See, I was suggesting it was a girl, but you turned it around on me like I had sex with a guy.
And how do I come back from that?
I cannot live.
All right, now I'm aggravated. So,
Sorry.
dude, I enjoyed myself. Dude says, my drunk-ass girlfriend told me she has had sex with over 200 guys. She told me she was a slut in college.
Was she there for 4 years or 6 or?
Did you do the Van Wilder routine?
Yeah.
4 years. And I don't appreciate now, in the last couple of weeks, there have been multiple references to Van Wilder.
Oh, I love Ryan Reynolds.
I don't appreciate it.
I do too.
I know what you guys are doing.
A buddy of mine's wife had only been with one other guy, and he thought that was pretty cool, right? Before they got married, just one
Okay,
other guy.
yeah.
But she made it very clear that he was much bigger than him.
No.
And she didn't mean to be a jerk at all. It just kind of came out. You know, she just mentioned something about
She made
it.
it very clear that the one man
Yeah.
in her past
Like it was a little too much.
was blessed.
Yeah.
Much bigger.
So, you know, he had this moment of, wow, that's great. I'm the second and hopefully last one. And then she dumps that on him.
This guy had to get out, like I said, a pencil and paper and do the arithmetic. Okay. 4 years of college, 200 guys.
Yep.
Now, try to keep up with this. This is difficult. And since I'm far from a math scholar, I hope not to screw any of this up along the way. So why a guy would want to go ahead and do this, I don't know. But this is how he operated. 4 years of college times 365 days a year equals 1,460 days. Okay, remember, 200 guys in 4 years. 4 years times 365 days in a year, 1,460 days. Divide that by 200 guys, and it equals a new guy every 7.3 days. I rounded it down. He says, I rounded it down to a new guy every 7 days, every week.
It's probably much more frequent than that, actually, especially if she goes like away for school. So if she comes home during the summer or whatever for like 2 or 3 months, so she's like not off in the dorm room, like actually seeing guys as often as I imagine you would. So
Okay. Ashley,
I could see her going to the bar a lot.
you're probably right, but just for my sake, please don't make this any more confusing than it already is. Now you're talking about what she might do in the summer and in the dorm, or does she live in an apartment, whatever. Don't make this anymore. Okay. Now, speaking of size, Josh, that's where this guy goes with it. So he must be, what's the word I'm looking for? Insecure about his size, like most of us.
I thought some of the extreme details he went into kind of was pretty funny. Which made me believe he's joking around.
All right, we'll keep going. You like where he goes with this, okay?
Yeah.
So, given that she had sex with each guy an average of 3 times, okay, that must be some information that she told him. I don't see that mentioned anywhere else. Given that she had sex with each guy an average of 3 times, and an average penis length is 5.5 inches, and if you factor in about 100 thrusts
yep.
to finish a sexual session.
That is where I started laughing. And I kind of wondered. I wonder what my average is. Sorry,
How did he
sorry to
land
be
on that
gross.
number?
And I think if I thought about it at the time, it would add more thrusts.
Okay.
So I'd have to have it filmed without my knowledge to count.
He takes into consideration the average penis size, how many times she had sex with each of these 200 guys over 4 years. He takes into consideration the amount of thrusts involved in a sexual session. 100 thrusts times 3 times per guy. See, I've already lost. I'm lost already.
300
Times
thrusts,
3 times per guy?
3 different sessions.
Oh, right. Okay, thank you. Because he said she must have told him she had sex with with all of these guys 3 times. I told you I'd struggle with this. 100 thrusts times 3 times per guy times 11 inches. Now, the 11 inches is the average penis size, 5.5 inches in and 5.5 inches out. That is a thrust. A full thrust is the forward and the backward.
Okay.
So you take a 5.5-inch penis times 2, that makes 11 inches. That equals.
That's dangerous.
What is
Yeah.
dangerous?
I think I'd be 5.5 in and maybe 4 out.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
think
you
about
risk some
that.
serious danger.
Now we're getting into more technicalities, for Christ's sake. That equals 3,300 inches of penis per week. Now, if you take that 3,000, this is like an old Bill Cosby bit.
It sure is.
Now, when you take that 3,300 inches of penis per week times 208 weeks, that's how many weeks there are in 4 years. That's 660,000 inches of penis, which then translates to 10.45 miles of dong.
Wow.
This guy's a genius.
Yeah.
Short but fat Jesus wants to know, Nick. Now, I know there's more information, but from what we've heard so far about this girl, what do you think your wife would call her?
Boy, let me get back to you on that because my wife has so many choice words. So many that she goes through.
Is there one in particular? I know she kind of doesn't like this type of person and wants you to avoid
She'd
this.
probably land on the word whore.
Yeah, she would. She'd call her a whore.
Now that I think about my friggin' wife.
Yeah, she'd call her a whore.
Which I was hoping not to think about her until later on today, but thanks again. All right. So, he landed on the number of 10.45 miles of dong. That's what his girlfriend went through in 4 years of college. He says, if I got in my car and drove 10.45 miles and thought about dongs being laid out end to end for that entire 10.45 miles, that's how much my girlfriend took in 4 years. And then he ends the story by saying she isn't his girlfriend anymore. Well, what happened?
She didn't like this math
Yeah,
problem?
what's the problem?
I wouldn't consider that a problem.
No, me neither.
Well, that will haunt him forever. Every time he's using his GPS and it says like 10 miles left, he's gonna think of the penises.
Boy,
Line in the road. Another penis.
Forever.
that's my ex-girlfriend's sex life away right there, 10 miles.
Man, that is some interesting arithmetic. We have other people, well, specifically our listening audience. Sorry about that. That was disrespectful. Other people. We have listeners texting in now with their own arithmetic, maybe attempting to correct this guy if he needs correcting. I'm not the guy to ask on that. But I'll be damned. I don't know. I always liked the more adventurous type of lady. I did.
There's, not to be too specific, but you'll get the gist. Somebody is curious about the fluid ounces math.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You son of a bitch.
I'm not.
I am not going to sit here and measure those fluid ounces.
I mean, I'm sure we could figure that out, right? You
Probably.
You look up average.
Yeah.
It looks like I have an answer here, Josh. It really does. Do you want to know? Okay.
Kinda.
If the average finish, and thank you, Mountain Mayhem Jesus, for being
Brave enough to ask the question?
well, that too, but for being
Doing the math?
no, for Christ's sake, give me a minute. Thank you, Mountain Mayhem Jesus, for being careful in the wording.
Oh.
He says if the average finish is 0.3 fluid ounces, okay, we got to take his word for it, Mountain Mayhem Jesus. Then 200 guys, she had sex with each of those 200 guys 3 times. That equals about a gallon and a half.
You know, there's probably some person out there who has saved it.
No.
No, they have not.
Oh, I'll
I'm
bet.
sure there is, but no.
I have one person that in my life in the past who I would guarantee has done something like that.
What do you mean? Oh, you know a woman who has saved?
No, a guy.
I know 2 guys in my dorm that did that. They had a contest.
Stop it. No. We're done. We're done.
Terrifying.
There were, and I don't believe a word that there were 2 guys in your. No, that's end
It
of
was St. Cloud
conversation.
State, man. You
End
spent
of
time up there.
conversation.
You
We're
know how
not-
things get down.
We're not talking about bottling anything.
Some men just don't deserve their penises. It's gross.
If there was
Shame.
a court of penile law, you know, the penile system. Who would be, like, would the judges have to be women or like a balance of women and men?
Half and half.
Half and
Keep
half?
it fair. Yep.
Okay, I was wondering, maybe you'd actually, as women, be a better judge of who deserves it and who doesn't.
Probably. But it's got to be fair.
So in this case, if you've ever, done that, made a collection, you're done.
Yeah, you're done.
Okay.
You might be able to redeem yourself. Some probation.
There you friggin' go, everybody. Learning is fun.
Uncle Bitch Jesus said, he never saw this conversation coming. Never. When he woke up this morning, didn't foresee this. Well, it came, buddy. It sure did.
Whew-wee. What else is going on this morning? It's Tuesday.
I want to do some more fun math on a different topic.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a very bright guy, Josh, and an educated man.
I'm not, and I'm also bad at math, so maybe I'm not the guy. But maybe I could help come up with a topic.
Yeah, your creativity, I think, would help come up with another fun subject where we could break down the arithmetic down to silly levels like this guy did, referring to his girlfriend's sexual past.
People have done that, like with feces, right? Look up the average per year and then figure out, where they've contributed the most, how many miles, how like, would it fill a swimming pool, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Can we try to stay away from feces and semen
Yeah,
for
that's
the
what I
rest
mean.
of the
Like
day?
if we could change it so it's a little less unsettling.
I got to deal with enough of that in my personal life. I don't want to bring it to work. You know what I mean? I bet you could come up with something. I'm going to put it on you just because you're you.
Here's one, a suggestion from Backyard Haircut Jesus. Now, I'm a known Chipotle fan. He said maybe I could figure out how many miles of Chipotle burritos I've eaten in my life. I mean,
Sure.
there was a time where the only variety of my diet was the location of Chipotle, where I would eat that lunch and dinner every single day, every day, to the point where they made me a Master Burrito Ambassador. I got a free Chipotle for Life card, which I used once and felt like a douchebag, so I never used it again.
Yeah.
Feel free to gift that to me.
They don't do it anymore.
Oh, they don't?
Yeah, it's very controlled. There's only a few people they do that for now.
What if
Very controlled.
So it wasn't for life.
Well, it would have been. They gave it to me. I'm assuming it would still work. But yeah.
when you ordered those burritos, did you put beans on them?
Yep.
All right, what if we laid those beans out on a highway, like dude laid out the penis? How far could we get with those beans? Maybe like from here to Princeton or something?
And maybe we could combine it. Like we could do two things. Every place I've ever been, we'll just have a little bean map, like when Indiana Jones crosses the world.
Yeah.
It's got those red dots. We can just do that with beans.
Yeah.
And then that way people can follow the beans and go, I
so
didn't know
many.
he'd ever been there.
We could get somewhere with all the beans you've consumed, I bet.
And also, like, you guys know, you make fun of me because I'm content with the exact same thing every single day.
Yeah.
And that's what it would be. To the point, the most embarrassing part for me was, I legitimately, anytime I moved, I would tell a realtor, or if I was renting, it would have to be within 5 minutes of a Chipotle. They'd ask, what are you looking for? That was it. That was the first thing I'd say.
I love that.
You're so awesome for that.
And, awesome? That's
Yeah.
not the word I'd use.
I think it's cool.
And then I would go when I lived in Eden Prairie, and the parking lot of my apartment building was shared with a Chipotle, and so I'd go there most often, obviously, and they would have it waiting for me at certain times of day. And I remember the first time that was the case, I thought, wow, this is so sweet. That was really cool that they would do something like that. But I was also very embarrassed, and I wondered if anybody there is like, come on, dude, are you serious again?
Yeah. They did think that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And by the way, and 90% of the time I'm alone too,
Yeah.
So,
Lonely
Yeah, they're
bastard.
thinking.
yeah, that maybe that's what they're thinking. Like, God, this guy needs a friend.
But then every single time they train a new person in, they're like, all right, this is Bitney. You have to have this order ready at every time.
New person. Hey, new person. I guarantee within a half hour of your first shift, this little guy with a backwards ball cap's going to come in and get a friggin'. All right, so maybe a Chipotle employee is how you say it. Maybe a Chipotle employee can tell us how many beans they put in the average burrito. Josh, you can look up the length of a bean, and we'll find out where you could get,
I honestly,
how far you could travel down the road with the beans
I couldn't tell you how many I've had. I mean, thousands.
That's just.
We'll try to
insane to
figure
me.
it out.
I don't know if I could figure that out.
We'll try to
And
do the arithmetic.
By the way, the first time I went there, I didn't want to go at all. I protested. My brother wanted to take me there to the Uptown location. And I thought, I don't want to go there. And boy, did he change my life. God dang it, I complimented my brother.
This was your brother.
Yeah.
Introduced you to the joint.
He did.
I never thought I would enjoy such a thing either. But the first time I went over there, I thought it was just terrific. Now, it didn't make me go there every day for every meal for years, but I enjoyed it. And I've got a lame claim to fame connected to my very first, visit to Chipotle. You know who told me about Chipotle?
Who dat?
Clay Matvick.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we
That's
were
pretty
hanging
cool.
out, and he said, "You ever heard of Chipotle?" I said, "I didn't understand a word that just came out of your mouth." And he
What?
said, "We got to go." We went. I thought it was great.
I got a
that's
lame
cool.
claim
It was
to
to
fame.
Clayboy. You have a lame claim to fame?
Yeah, so I got a plaque for being a guy that went there a lot. And then also I beat a Minnesota Viking in a burrito eating contest,
Oh, man.
Sure.
which is probably my greatest accomplishment.
I'm proud of you.
That is pretty sweet. Do you know how fast you ate the burrito?
It was just who could eat the most.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't a timed thing.
I'm friggin' proud of you.
I beat him by half a burrito.
Oof. I can't even do a full one. Oh.
On many levels.
Nah, I'm weak.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Backtracks.
What did I read when I walked in here this morning, Cubby? We Americans might be getting tired of holiday gatherings. What do you think?
I like them still.
I don't know if I'm tired of them.
Yeah.
But that being said, we don't do multiple, one side of the family and then the other side of the family between me and my wife. We kind of combine them. Mm-hmm. So that makes a big difference, obviously.
Big
Yeah, it
difference.
does.
So maybe I can't chime in on the topic.
Not a lot of divorces in your family?
No.
Because that creates...
No, it's a very, very Catholic family, and so they'll be happily miserable for decades if they have to.
You gut it out until the day that you die.
That's right.
No,
No
matter
matter-
what you truly feel.
No
deep down
matter
inside.
what.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you both feel.
Because, divorces obviously provide that extra. Well, now we got to go to my mom's, then we got to go to my dad's, and then my dad's new girlfriend has a gathering. Oh, and my mom's...
Oh, Dana, you're in for it this year, aren't you?
Oh, big time.
With
yeah.
your fiance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how? Because now she's got a dad and two stepdads, right?
Yes, she has 3 dads.
So are they all having something separate, or are they on good terms where they could get together for one thing?
Oh, it's all separate. I mean, everyone's on good terms, but it's
Hang on a second. Your fiance has what?
She has 3 dads.
Explain that.
She has her father.
Sure.
Uh-huh. And then her mom got married 2 more times. So she has 2 stepdads.
Why is she still involved with the stepdad who is out of the picture?
Because he's an amazing guy.
He's
really
an
is.
amazing guy.
Yeah, he's wonderful. Absolutely.
I wouldn't give
And
up.
he listens to the show. He's probably listening right now. And I'm not blowing smoke up his ass. He's a great guy.
I wouldn't give up my stepdad privileges if my wife moved on to like Tay Diggs or something like that. No way. I'd fight for the kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
Hi, I have no legal standing. I'd like them to be mine.
I mean, are Americans tired of holiday gatherings? I mean, it depends on who you are. As far as family gatherings go, if you have your own family, like Cubby, you do certain family things for the kids. I don't have that problem. So family get-togethers are not a big thing anymore. My siblings and I are over the hill in our 50s, for Pete's sake. Their kids are grown. So, we see each other fairly often. So, if we get together, great. If we don't, so what? Our folks are old or passed on at this point. They certainly don't care if there's a big family event. And also, we are far from the most religious family in the world. So when you remove the religion stuff and the kid stuff, you're free to do what you want come Christmas, and that's okay by me.
Did you and your wife start a tradition or anything last year? Your first Christmas as a married couple?
No.
I could see her wanting to do something like that as you go through this journey together of love and growth.
You're calling our marriage what again?
Well, that's her words. You have a journey that you're on as a married couple of love and growth.
Right. That she came up with that slogan. It's disgusting what she did with that. we went to see her family. Her parents are still kicking.
Colorado?
Living out in Colorado. But, I mean, I'll
But
tell
like the
you.
two of you, is there something like,
no. Something special that
maybe you want to do every year together?
No. Although, I really enjoyed this. Our first Christmas as a married couple on a journey of love and growth. We made a pact not to buy each other a damn thing, and we stuck to that pact, and I've been waiting for that my entire life.
Oh, that's nice.
Not
That
a
is a nice
damn
thing.
thing. She was the one who came up with it. She said, it's ridiculous that we would buy each other Christmas presents. We're in our friggin' 50s. Who cares? We're just going to have a good time, and don't worry about buying. Neither one of us bought each other. We didn't spend a dime, and it was beautiful.
Is she easy to buy for? Let's say she didn't feel that way.
She's
not.
Well, there's no one, but that's nothing specific about her. I find everyone to be difficult to buy for.
Oh, you're one of
probably-
those people? You're not a good gift giver?
No, I don't think I am.
One of those.
I didn't mean it like that.
No,
my
no,
bad.
no.
My boyfriend's like that too. So instead of Christmas gifts, we usually go on a trip because we're like, he sucks at buying me gifts, and I'm really good at it. I'm really good at it.
Right.
And so it just makes him feel bad. Even if it's like a good gift, I always go overboard.
That reminds me of the relationship that Josh and I have. Josh is a tremendous gift giver. I've never been able to match what you bring. I mean, for Christ's sake, my last birthday, he got me the finger bang drum machine.
Yeah, that's
all
sweet.
I can ever think to buy Josh is maybe a hoodie.
I love it. I'm easy to please. And
I know.
like I've said before, I had to tell you this to your wife recently. You and I have different love languages.
Love languages.
Oh, what's yours, Josh?
Mine is I like to give people stuff to show my appreciation. Like, hey, I thought of you. You know, I like to do that. Yours is different.
But back to, whether or not my wife, my friggin' wife, whether or not she's easy to buy for, difficult to buy for, I find it difficult to buy anything for anyone, especially women, just because, and it's my fault, I don't. Although I know my friggin' wife tremendously well. We've known each other for 35 years. We've been in each other's lives for 35 years. That's longer than Wapple's been alive, longer than Ashley's been alive. But still, it's my own fault. I probably don't pay close enough attention to details, which would make gift giving much easier.
Yes.
So I struggle with that, and I was so pumped when she said, throw this Christmas gift idea away. It's silly. It's not necessary. So, man, my life is very easy in that department specifically.
How about other like birthdays or other holidays or
No.
things like Valentine's Day?
No, we don't get.
Same deal?
Yeah, we don't get involved in any of that. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I could
I
see
bet you
that.
save a lot of money.
I guess. I don't know. She handles that, Ashley, to be specific with you. She could give you the arithmetic on that, not me. Sure, on Valentine's Day, I don't know, we probably, I don't remember. We probably went out to dinner or something.
Yeah, but not like gifts. You're not exchanging gifts.
No, I'm not buying, things.
The gift is a shared experience on this journey of love and growth.
Yes.
The gift, our gift.
Yes, to each
is
other is
our-
a shared experience.
Of course it
Just
is.
like Ashley's.
Of course it is. Oh, God. So, anyway, according to some numbers, maybe we're not as pumped collectively as we used to be about holiday gatherings. I'd still full-on embrace like a holiday get-together at a bar or a house with my pals and my old pals. But as far as family gatherings, not necessary anymore.
I think just, one's good. Well, I think one's good.
One Christmas with the family.
Yeah, I'm good. It may be a work thing if that's your work.
Mm.
If you can stand your coworkers, that might be fine.
You know what? I haven't heard a word about a company Christmas party this year. Not that it matters to me because I've skipped 90% of them throughout my career, but I haven't heard a word about.
I think that's because, more and more people keep getting canned, so there's less and less folks to
organize it.
Yeah, less to celebrate and less people to, as Wapple said, organize or go.
There's like 10 of us there, and it's all sad.
Well, I know that, you've been a semi, even maybe more than semi-regular company Christmas party guy, Josh. Does that bother you at all? That we're not going to, at least it appears we're not going to have a company Christmas party?
Well, I like to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand if they don't do it.
Sure.
I mean, it's kind
Things are pretty
of a
miserable
bummer.
around here.
Yeah, it's not just Cumulus, it's across the board, right?
Pretty miserable. Well, I told Cumulus a long time ago I'm not getting them anything.
I got them nothing, too. You know, we tried to buy something for the big boss, and she wasn't able to accept it. Do you remember that?
No, I do not.
Yeah, it was a couple years back. Said she couldn't accept it because it sucked, she told us.
Oh.
Oh,
She said,
no.
I can't accept this.
Can
This
you-
is stupid.
Ouch.
Can
Did
you?
Nick buy it?
Did I buy it?
No, we both did.
I have no idea.
Meaning I
what-
bought it and you paid me back.
Oh,
Paid me half.
Well, that sounds right. Can you do you feel like talking more detail? I have no memory of this whatsoever.
We bought her a real nice bottle of booze,
Oh,
and she said she couldn't accept gifts from plebes,
oh,
that work underneath it.
well, that's not
So you
bad.
drank it yourself then?
Yeah. So what are you guys gonna do?
Oh,
with
I'm
that?
a huge drinker.
We know that.
We
Well, no,
gave it
really.
away to somebody else we thought would appreciate it.
we did. We
Yeah,
gave
neither
it
one
away.
of us are booze guy. Well, I'm not an alcohol guy, but you're not a booze guy.
No, I don't like hard liquor much. Oh, so we just gave it off to somebody else, huh?
Yeah.
Well, what
Just
the
said,
hell?
hey, this got turned down. Do you have any interest in this?
What the hell's going on with our listeners this morning? I just checked my text machine. Just received a text, November 18th, 2024. That's today, right?
Yep.
Just had a text that came in, 5:59 a.m. So that was a minute ago. And the text machine says, "Is it true that Malcolm Young died?"
I got back to that person, and yeah, I'm sorry to break this to you, but he did pass away on this
years
day
ago?
in 2017.
On this, was it on this day?
Yeah, so I'm sure that person's seeing it on social media. But yes,
Yeah.
he died on this day.
Malcolm Young, of course, legendary rhythm guitar player from AC/DC. I'm sorry that you're just learning this, and I ain't going to make fun of you because I have a difficult time keeping track of who's alive and dead. If you listen to this show, you know that. Is it true that Malcolm Young died? Is the first text message that I looked at. Yeah, dude, he did, and it was. I'm trying to do the math there. 7 years ago? 7 years ago. That sucks for you, bro.
He got back and does. Wow, I guess I'm a little behind a couple of years. Yeah, we've all been there one way or the other.
Yep.
Ah, crap.
That's funny.
Malcolm did die.
What? The Ultimate Warrior died.
What?
Yeah, he's been gone for a little while, too, the Ultimate Warrior.
How did that bit start? Did somebody do the same thing with Malcolm Young? Is Malcolm Young going to replace the Ultimate Warrior? So if you're not familiar, the Ultimate Warrior wrestler died in 2014, I think.
14.
And for whatever reason over the years, people will text us as if it's breaking news and say, did you hear the Ultimate Warrior died? It's kind of it's a bit.
If I remember right, I think I lost my cool on the air one morning over that question, or at least over that statement. Hey, did you hear the Ultimate Warrior died? And the sumbitch had been he'd been dead for 6-8 months or something. And I think I lost my cool, so I think it became kind of a running bit to try to get me to bust a spring.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Malcolm's gone. Bon Scott, yeah, he died.
Yeah, he did.
Not recently at all. 1980, I believe.
Oh, a really long time ago.
Bon Scott died. But Angus and Brian, I believe, are still going, and we keep hearing rumors that they might kick it in the ass again and do a tour.
Yeah, when we were talking about upcoming concerts, we got plastered with texts saying, hey, heard AC/DC's coming next year. And I still have, outside of text, I have not heard anything or read anything about that.
I spent almost my entire weekend listening to AC/DC. I did. So it's kind of interesting that we got a text on Malcolm Young being gone for 7 years. I was listening to a lot of the old AC/DC records. Oh, I love that stuff. And Malcolm could come up with some cool riffs. Brad Ryder, Randy Shaver, going to join us 7:30. Yeah, sure, we'll talk about the Vikings. Yeah, we'll talk about the Friday night dance contest between Mike Tyson and the YouTube kid.
Oh, God.
I didn't watch any of it, but I watched some of the clips, and boy, that was about as bad as most people thought it would be, just based on those clips. I haven't heard one person say they enjoyed it.
Yeah, and then like streaming kept going down too when I was trying to watch it, so it made it even more of a headache.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
glad I
buffering
didn't
the
bother.
entire time.
Was it really? Was that so? That many people? I knew like it was a pretty big problem, but I thought it wasn't as widespread. So it was pretty.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Was it?
Yeah, me and my buddies were playing video games, and thankfully we were all on Discord, so someone put it up on their computer, and everyone was just watching it as a big group.
Yeah, it was just a dance contest. Like most of us should have suspected.
Most people probably did.
From what I understand, there were a few people who were quite clueless on what to expect from a YouTube kid boxing a near 60-year-old man, but we'll get into all of it. By damn Cubby, we'll get into every damn little yes, we saw his ass cheeks. Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
yeah.
We sure did.
Enough with the ass cheeks.
That was all over the internet. I heard the.
It didn't need to be. That just felt unnecessary.
You didn't like the butt too much?
No, I didn't want to see that.
Yeah, good cheeks.
I felt like I was violating him.
You know, it was funny. I was sitting at the bar Friday night, and then I got home in time for the Timber. Well, they started at 9 o'clock Friday night. I had no intention of watching the dance contest because I knew 100% that that's all it would be. So I didn't watch it, even though I was right there at home with a working television. I chose to go with the Timberwolves. But my friggin' wife, of course, is sitting there playing with her phone, and she showed me the ass cheeks clip because it very quickly jumped up on the internet. And I said, that's just, it was very telling, you know, the difference between the YouTube kid and Mike Tyson. The YouTube kid, 27 years old. I'm sure he had the latest, you know, spandex type underwears and whatnot. You got of course, the near 60-year-old man is still walking around the locker room with that dirty old jock with the exposed ass cheeks that our grandfathers wore when they were playing high school baseball and whatnot. That's all you needed to know. That told me right there. Now, that's an over-the-hill athlete. He's still walking around with the assless jock strap like it's 1958.
From friends who watched it, most of them said the women's match was great.
Yeah, it was. It was
And
really, really
I was
good.
reading it might be the most watched women's sporting event of all time.
Well, I'll be
Oh,
damned.
that's pretty cool.
So they had a lot of people watching that thing.
At one point, I thought she was going to lose her eye.
Oh,
Which one?
gross.
Boy. I can't remember which one it was.
One of them almost had an eye come out.
Yeah, she got hit a good couple times. there.
Well, that can happen.
I've never been hit so hard where I thought my eye was going to pop out. I've seen stars. That's about as close as I've ever come.
I've never been hit. I never want to be.
Yeah, I don't think I've taken one Cubby where I thought that the eye was going to fall out, but I've been hit in the friggin' face, I'll tell you that. Ooh-wee. For those of you who haven't experienced it, like, say, Smashley, get knocked out.
No. That just looks
I'm just telling you
bad.
from personal experience. When you get knocked out, you just kind of nap for a little while and you wake up and you feel pretty decent.
Really?
You
Nap
do.
of your
feel
life.
pretty good.
You do.
You might be a little confused. It takes a second to realize. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan movie where at the very end they show you all the clues that you missed or something.
Yeah.
Some sort of
Yeah.
twist. It's like that where you're kind of going back trying to piece together what happened. But Nick's right. It's very peaceful sleep.
Trust me,
Starts snoring
Ashley.
immediately.
I've been hit in the face where you stay awake, and I've been hit in the face where you go night-night. I'm telling you, going night-night is where it's at.
That's what you prefer.
'Cause
Okay.
You just kind of wake up, and there's a couple of friends kind of kneeling around you to try to wake you up again.
That's nice.
Yeah, hi, how are you? Good. Where am I? That kind of. It's not bad. All right, we'll get moving here. Like we were saying, she's a Monday morning.
Oh, geez.
It's kind of an F-off week for us. We're on vacation next week. What
That'd be
happened over
nice.
there, Josh?
So the trunks that Jake Paul was wearing, people are saying are worth $1 million. I thought that was the necklace, but so you're saying the trunks too were worth that much?
Oh, what a D-bag.
I didn't see what was
Well, I'd read about the necklace was where you had a ton of diamonds on it, worth a ton of money. But
Okay.
I had no idea the trunks.
Wow.
My word.
None of that stuff really interests me. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could pee or poop those if you get hit hard enough. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing that can happen if you get hit in the face.
What I mean is, you know, the folks who are flashy just for the sake of being flashy. I've never taken an interest in that type of a person. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple that are decent folks, but I'm with you. Your first thought is, ooh, this is probably a douchebag I'm about to talk to or whatever.
Yeah. Walking around with $1 million necklace. I mean,
I had a buddy.
it's not my style of person.
Or I have a buddy who's kind of like that. He's a little flashy. And the first time I ever met him, he did say, hey, I know I look like a douchebag, but I promise I'm a decent guy.
Is that really what?
Yeah, it's the first thing he ever said to me.
What was he? What was his appearance like?
So he had, this was, boy, I'm going to say 2009 maybe, and he was a realtor, and we were looking to, move. And so he comes, walks up my driveway, and he's got, like the white belt, a flashy shirt, white sunglasses, and he got out of a hot car, and he's like, listen, I know I look like a douchebag. But
No kidding.
Yeah, he knows. He knew it. Yeah, he has, I think the car and his flashy outfit, all that kind of stuff.
Well,
And he did look like a douchebag.
It sounds like, the way you described it
But
was
one of the coolest dudes I've ever met.
The half-assed morning show backtracks. There's a douchiness to them. The 93X half-assed morning show.
It is that time of the year at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Schedule your tune-up, boost your indoor air quality, or grab huge deals on a new system. Do not wait. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show. Terrell Davis, former NFL player for the Denver Broncos.
When I played, if I had to get a message out, it was probably through my agent, or I had to tell somebody in the media. Now, I can just tweet it. I can just put it on social media. You hear a lot of things that you don't want to hear, and then your family hears it, they tell you about it. So it's definitely a different environment.
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Backtracks.
We got an old friend on the telephone line. By God, it's been months since we've talked, and we miss her so. Welcome back to the Half-Assed Morning Show, Janelle Dam Klein. Hello, Jungle Jane.
Good morning, you guys. I miss you, too.
It sucked without you. I can't believe how long it's been. I mean, you've been out of town for way too long as far as we're concerned.
Me too. I know. It felt like a really long time. So, I was very excited to get your text yesterday. So thank you.
Yeah, yesterday we were talking about you. We've been talking about you a lot. And Josh said, what the hell? We're dying to have you back in studio. But let's see if we can get her on the friggin' telephone. We've received multiple text messages wondering where you are, when you'll be back. Talk to us. What the hell's been going on for the last couple of minutes? We know you have a job to do. And we would never.
And we don't like that.
No, we don't.
But we understand.
Your job should be to be our friend.
Yeah, I mean, being your guys' friend is a kind of a full-time job.
Kind of drags sometimes.
We're sorry.
I mean, you make a living reporting the news on television and radio, and of course we would never get in the way of that. But this has been an extreme situation where you have been in the state of Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, for a good couple of months.
Yes, it has been almost 2 months. I have been covering this case for quite a few years. I think I've maybe talked about it once or twice on our show, but it is a double murder case in Delphi, Indiana, which is about 2 hours north of Indianapolis. And so it happened in 2017, but the trial just happened this fall. So I got assigned to the trial, and I was there through, jury selection all the way to the verdict. So that's why I've been gone. That's what I've been doing.
Well, and so the trial is over. Why aren't you home yet?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going kind of back and forth and doing interviews and kind of just some work like after the trial that we still have to do.
Okay.
So I'm still kind of wrapping things up, but hopefully we'll be back kind of full time in Minnesota soon.
You gonna write a book about this whole ordeal? It sounds like you've pretty invested in it.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Other reporters actually have written a book about it.
Oh, wow.
It's such a wild case.
Is that right?
We did a show for Hulu. I know there are some people in our listening audience that love true crime, and there is a show on Hulu that I contributed to, and I think there's also one on HBO Max. I haven't seen either one, but that's part of what I was doing when I was there, is working on this show that's on Hulu right now.
We did have some listeners that pointed out that they saw you on the Hulu show.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. I don't want to watch it because it's probably so embarrassing, but it is a really interesting case. And so, yeah, anyone who's interested in true crime might want to check that out.
Well, I mean, we're happy that you're at least in the process of wrapping things up. But has this been like the longest gig you've ever been involved in your career, where you're out of town for this amount of time?
Yeah, this is one of them. I mean, sometimes I'll do things where I'll go back and forth. Usually other trials. That's where, they let you kind of come home. And then I've done some trials in Minnesota where, I've been able to go home every night. So that's been nice. But this one was long. I don't think I expected it to go quite this long. I thought it might go 3 weeks or so, but with jury selection, and then the trial went way longer than I think anyone really expected, and then the jury deliberated for a long time, so it just got longer and longer.
Now,
we were all ready to come home for sure.
People love this kind of stuff these days, don't they, Josh? True crime
it's
and all
huge,
that.
Yeah. So it's like Tops podcasts, TV shows, movies.
I don't follow such things, and so I didn't follow this. You said Delphi, Indiana, a double murder. When I asked Ashley about it earlier, she sort of cringed and didn't even want to say a word about it. Was this some really dark stuff? Do you feel comfortable discussing what you've been covering the last couple of months?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to discuss it. It was horrible. It is horrible. It's so kind of the summary is that 2 teenage girls went on a hike on a afternoon where they had school off one day in February of 2017. There's kind of a nature trail near this little town. And they went, one of the sisters dropped them off for this hike, and one of the dads was supposed to pick them up like an hour or two later, and they just disappeared. And during the time they were on the walk, they were Snapchatting videos. And so after they went missing, they found one of the girls' phones, and the last thing on the phone was this Snapchat video showing a man walking behind them on this trail.
Oh.
And they think he's saying on the video, "Guys, down the hill." And that's where they ended up finding their bodies, kind of down the hill off this hiking trail. And they didn't arrest anyone for, I think it was 5 years. And then they finally arrested a guy who was working at the local CVS store. And he swears he has nothing to do with it. And during the trial, we found out there was no DNA. There wasn't really any physical evidence tying him or anyone to the scene. But they ended up putting him in solitary confinement because they didn't have a proper place to house him while he was waiting for his criminal case to play out. And while he was in solitary confinement, he went into psychosis and confessed. I think it was 60 or 65 times, something like that. Jeez. So that was kind of the whole point of the case, is they said, well, we have a guy that confessed to this. But then, of course, on the defense's side, they said, well, he only confessed because he was mentally ill. He was losing his mind while he was in jail. So it was a really interesting case.
Are you able in your position, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot at all, so maybe you can't. Can you say your thoughts, like just as someone who viewed everything, how you thought the trial went? Like, did you have an opinion on whether or not he was guilty or innocent, or if you're allowed to say?
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I will say this, Josh. This might be the first trial I've ever covered where I honestly don't know. I mean, I think, usually you go through a trial and you think, okay, they got the right person, or someone's found not guilty, and you say, yep, I can see why the jury found that. In this case, I was a little surprised. He was found guilty last week of all 4 counts of that were against him, and I honestly did not know which way the jurors would go, and I just don't know. I watched all of the evidence, and I just don't know if he did it or didn't do it. I have no idea. There's a lot to this case, so anybody who's really interested can look at it. But there are, I think, quite a few other suspects and possibilities as to what happened here. So it's hard to say if it really is him or if one of these other scenarios could have been the right suspect. I just don't know. It's just quite a case.
Yeah, I guess so. Like Nick, I haven't followed it too much. I've heard of it, but details. Hearing about kids getting killed, I can't do it. But what's his demeanor like? Does he have a vibe? Like when they talk about serial killers, some of them you're like, oh yeah, I could see that. And others like, no, he's the most affable guy you can imagine. So charming. Yeah, it's funny you say that because I have been around people that, during trials where you go, yep, I can see this guy being a murderer. You just kind of like you said, you get that feel from someone. I don't get that from this guy at all. But that doesn't mean someone can't do it. I just don't know. I think he definitely has mental health issues now, but I don't think he did before. So I do think that probably played a big part in how this all, went down with his trial. But it's really hard to say. One thing I will say that is really interesting and that they did get into a little bit in the trial is, we always joke about how tall I am, and I was sitting in the front row. They put the media in the front row of the courtroom, and the first day when the judge comes in, they say, all rise, and we all stood up. And I'm 5'10", and he stood up, and he's 5'4". He's a really small person.
Yeah.
So when you just think about it physically, that was, a factor in his defense where they said, how could a man 5'4", who's has a really slight build, do this to 2 girls who were 14. They weren't like little. But I don't know. I mean, when there was also a gun involved in the case, which you can, kind of look into that again if you're interested. So, I mean, I don't know enough about how this all could have happened. It's really, again, I think when I look at all the evidence, I just can't picture how this could have all went down. I just don't know.
They didn't go after him for, they didn't. It's just going to be jail time, not death penalties. Looking at when sentencing comes. Right.
It's not a death penalty case. But he's eligible to have. I think his sentence could be 130 years.
Oh wow.
So, and I think he's in his 50s, so it would be a life sentence.
With probation after 115 or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And this is why people are so drawn to this kind of stuff because they want to come to their own conclusion and they want to play it all out in their head. That sounds really interesting. And you said that there are folks who have been covering it that are thinking about writing books and maybe making movies. Like this is that big of a story?
It's a huge story. And, again, before I got assigned to it, I don't really follow this stuff super closely. I was aware of it just because it was, a crime that happened in the Midwest, and I'm kind of always following the news. So I remember it happening vaguely. But because it's so mysterious and because there's so many interesting elements to this one, I think it got a lot of attention. So even when I was covering the case, it's in a town of 3,000 people. So it's a small, small town. And the courthouse is, just only can hold so many. And so I'll never forget the first day we came, there are people sleeping on the court steps, sleeping on the lawn in tents because they were trying to line. It was like concert tickets. They're lining up because they want to get into the courtroom.
Is this worldwide media attention? I mean, were you seeing reporters from all over the world?
Yeah. I worked with a woman. I sat with her a lot that works for the Daily Mail out of London. I mean, there were people there from all over the world covering this.
Well, there looks, I tried to look up it on Hulu, and it looks like there was one made in 2022 about the Delphi murders, and it's called Down the Hill.
There was a documentary made on this story?
Yeah, yep. And then there's another one, the one you were probably talking about, Janelle, that's new, and it's called Who is the Delphi Killer?
It's already. They've already turned into movies and documentaries. Well, who do you want to play you in the movie?
Great question.
Oh my gosh!
I can see Nicole Kidman.
That's a good one.
wouldn't be surprised if it was a movie. I mean, I'm amazed at the attention this has gotten. I mean, again, for a case I didn't know a lot about, I'm fascinated by how obsessed people are about this.
Yeah, I'm going to look into this.
Did you hear what Josh said, that Nicole Kidman would play you in the movie?
Oh, Josh, that's very flattering. That's an
100%.
insult to Nicole Kidman, but thank you.
No, that's not.
No, I can definitely see that.
I'd also like her to portray me somehow, if I could.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
She could do a dual role.
Right?
She is a talented actress. I bet she could do it.
Put a little bald cap on, like
Yeah.
a skin cap, like the actors.
She looks so creepy.
And she'd just have to kneel for all the scenes for me. Stand when Janelle, kneel for me.
Well, so Janelle, this was a worldwide court case. I know that you spent so much time away from home and you're still not back, but that's got to be kind of a compliment to your skill set that you were put on this case to report for this person and that company and that television station and that, right? You should feel good about it.
Well, thank you. I don't know.
She doesn't feel good about it.
I think I just have done a lot of court cases, so I don't know if it says anything about my skill and talent, just that I've done a lot of them. And, I think once as you guys know, in any job, you kind of just get put on certain things, and then once you've done it, they just keep putting you on it.
Yes,
You and Josh were
Janelle.
You and Josh were separated at birth, I think. Josh, you did a great job today. No, I didn't. Janelle, you've just received quite an accolade to cover that case. No, I didn't.
Did you make any new friends while you were out there?
Yeah, a lot of new friends. That part was good, just because there were so many people there covering it. So I met a lot of other journalists.
Anybody we need to worry about?
Be jealous of?
Oh my gosh, no, all good people. And, I like small towns, so I got a kick out of being, in a rural area. And you kind of get to know the people that run the cafe, and you get to be friends with, people in town. And I don't know, I love doing that part of it, so that was fun.
Our long-lost cohort, friend, lover,
Say what?
Janelle Klein is on the telephone. It's great to hear your voice again, Janelle.
It really is.
I sure miss you guys. Thank you for having me.
And our listening audience is happy to hear you again. And they've been texting up and down, where the hell is Jupiter? And they're happy to know that you're alive and well. Janelle's been covering a big murder trial in Indiana that a lot of you know about. We've gotten text messages about this murder trial. You explained to us what it was all about. It's very fascinating stuff. Listeners have been texting in some questions for you, Janelle, since they haven't talked to you in so long.
Okay.
Question number one. Did you cheat on us with a morning show in Indiana?
I'm kind of insulted that anyone would even ask that. Who could be better than you guys?
Okay.
No one.
Okay.
No one.
She's laying on a little thick, isn't she, Josh?
Yeah, a little too much. The second no one, when she kind of elevated her voice, said to me, she definitely did.
I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't talk to anybody. That kind of another question for Janelle. She's been gone for 2 months, working. She's a hard-working lady covering this trial. Another question. How many pairs of clean underwears do you pack when you're going to Indiana for 2 months?
I don't know if I ever counted, but I mean, you've got to pack a lot because
you brought all of them.
You never know. Everything. Yeah, you throw everything in your suitcase when you go.
How many days did you pack for originally?
I didn't know how often they were going to let me go back and forth, so I think I was always prepared to be there for like 2 weeks at a time. Okay. But some of my coworkers ended up having to go shopping while we were there because we just wouldn't get a break.
Yeah.
Dude, 2 weeks. Are you staying in a hotel, or do they rent you a house, like an Airbnb or something, or what do they do?
Yeah, we stayed in a hotel. So Lafayette, Indiana, which is where Purdue University is only about 20 miles away. So that's where we stayed in a hotel the whole time.
Eating meals at restaurants every night, living in a hotel.
Yep.
You got all your underwears, every damn last pair in a garbage bag. You're prepared for everything. But,
any gentleman callers, perhaps?
What?
Maybe a visitor from home or
home?
Else?
No, but it was like being in jail, you guys. There is no fun to be had.
Now, you know Josh and I pretty well at this point. We don't like to be away from home. We miss the comforts of home. What do you miss the most about all your time away? Is it just the comforts of your own little apartment and sleeping in your own bed? What have you missed the most? We've missed a lot of things with you out there. What have you missed the most?
I would say just sleeping in your own bed gets challenging the longer you're gone. And then, like you said, anyone who travels for work, I think, understands this. Like, it's so fun to go to dinner with friends or with your family or, whatever, when you just look at it as a treat. But when you have to do it every night for, 6 or 8 weeks, it gets old really quickly.
Okay.
Has anyone, there's stories going around. It's happening nationwide, but it's also happening here where people are breaking into homes at an alarming rate. And sometimes people who are, like yourself, in the public eye and who are gone. I mean, does somebody watch in your house, I hope?
Yeah, well, that's what you have to live in a building with security. That's the trick.
Yeah.
That's the trick when you travel a lot, because I did hear about that. I mean, I was trying to follow the news at home, and it was some Minnesota Vikings players, right? Is that where it happened locally?
A couple of Timberwolves.
There's another athlete.
Oh, Timberwolves. Okay.
They haven't said who it is yet, but another athlete just had their home broken into.
Janelle, that makes me wonder. So when you go out of town for like a month or a month and a half at a time, do you just like not pay your bills at your apartment, or like because you're never using the electricity, or do your bill companies ever hit you up like,
who's
hey,
paying the bills over there?
You haven't used water in a month and a half. Are you okay?
Everything's on auto pay, and I don't know. I've been doing this so long, you just kind of get it set up so that you know that you have to leave. This one was maybe a little easier because I knew for a while, like a couple weeks in advance. I mean, I knew the trial was coming, and I thought there's a chance I'm going to get put on this because I knew the case. But yeah, you kind of have everything set up so that even if you get called away last minute, that you know everything's taken care of.
Along those lines, my goal, just once in life, I want to use my furnace so infrequently that the gas company calls or sends a welfare check. I want the Egan cops to show up at my house, just make sure I'm okay, because I haven't used the furnace in a long time.
Josh hates the furnace. He hates hot. He loves cold.
I do.
Now, again, like I mentioned, Janelle, a lot of our listeners are texting in, and they're just very happy to hear your voice again. And a couple of them, and this is funny to me, a couple of them are very excited to specifically hear that your delivery hasn't changed. There were a couple listeners that were afraid, and this is a douche move and everyone knows it, that you'd come home with an accent after being in Indiana for 2 months. Has everyone known that person who went away, I don't know, a couple, 3, 4 months, 6 months, maybe even a year, and they come back with a completely different accent?
Absolutely. Yep.
I hate that bit.
The most extreme was a British accent. And not just like every once in a while you hear something like, there's something there.
Yeah, just full on
over the top.
Monty Python.
Like you were like you're doing a joke. Like if you were doing trying to be Irish, like, hello, laddie. So over the top. It was just comical.
Oh, you must have gone to Ireland for a week and a half.
Yeah, so I'd be like, did you get the same apartment? Yeah, I've got the same flat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So a couple of our listeners were happy to hear, Janelle, that you're not coming home with a brand new made-up accent after spending a couple months in Indiana. We know that Jungle Jane will never change for anybody.
Janelle, I Googled Lafayette, Indiana restaurants. How much time did you spend at the local Hooters?
They've got a Hooters.
They got a Hooters in Lafayette.
Oh, it's worth it.
You know what? I did not even know there was a Hooters there, so apparently I didn't explore enough, Dean.
You got to go back.
I didn't know there wasn't.
Show field trip to the Lafayette, Indiana Hooters.
Have you done like any bar hopping or gone to any shows or anything while you're out there?
Not really. I mean, we worked long days. It was super tight security, so we had to be at the courthouse every morning I was usually there by 7 o'clock, and then we'd go through security by 8. We got our media passes, and then court usually started at 9, and then, they would go. I mean, there were some nights the judge didn't let us out till after 6 o'clock, and then we'd still have to, do our work, write things up, send notes, get on calls about what happened that day. It just got to be really long days. So we did go to a couple good restaurants in Lafayette, but it was rare. Usually it was run, back to the hotel, eat something really quick, and then start working.
Jesus.
So it wasn't very glamorous.
How many people are traveling with you? I mean, do you have a couple of...
Yeah, I was the one person there consistently in my group, but then there were people flying in and out from New York and Denver, Columbus, Ohio. We had kind of a group, Chicago. We had people kind of in and out during the whole thing, doing different things. But then I was always the one that was in court every day. That was kind of the point person through it. So we probably had a group of, I don't know, 6 people total. And then there were some people that were also working on it remotely in New York, too.
Well, Janelle Klein, we miss you terribly. Keep us posted on the process of you finally bringing your carcass back home.
Please.
I will. I can't wait to see you guys.
Any idea yet? I mean, do you have to be there through sentencing, or can you come back?
So, yeah, I'll probably go back quite a bit. Now, so he gets sentenced December 20th. So there'll just be a lot of work in advance of that to kind of get ready for that part of it. And I think, I don't know the situation with that Hulu show or with other episodes of our coverage, if we'll do more leading up to the sentencing. I don't really have a good sense of that yet, but yeah, this will still be probably pretty demanding up until his sentencing later next month.
Get home safe. And like I said, keep us posted. Bring me a souvenir. I thought it would be fitting, since you're in Indiana, you'd maybe just stop and get me a Larry Bird jersey. Bring that back.
Or a Hooters t-shirt. I know, it's funny when I was there. I mean, it's like sometimes when I've gone to Wisconsin, I bring home like cheese or beer or something. And what do you bring from Indiana? I guess you're right. It would be a basketball jersey.
A John Cougar record or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Autographed John Cougar cowboy hat. I don't know.
There you go. I'll be on the lookout.
Yes, it's been a pleasure talking to you again, and our listeners have enjoyed it, and we can't wait to have you right back here in studio, so get your ass home.
Thank you. I missed you all.
Oh, yeah, miss you, pal. We'll
Thanks,
look forward
Janelle.
to having you back.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
Welcome to the program, Marcus Bydam Foligno from the Minnesota Wild. Marcus?
How we doing?
Hey, morning.
You don't sound so good, Marcus.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, you all right?
Oh, okay, sorry.
I assume you're just coming to in your hotel room or your house or something. How you feeling this morning after a big win in Missouri?
We're feeling good. Yeah, it was a good win last night for the guys on the road. Started the road trip off on a positive note, and obviously just to play a Central Division team too and get a win is huge. So good little rebound game from Dallas.
Always nice to beat a division rival. Are you at home? Did you guys fly out of there last night? Where are you?
We got to stay over, and then we got to go to Edmonton. So we kind of stayed over after the game. It's a long travel to Edmonton. We probably get in around like 3 a.m. or something if we did last night. So fly out this morning.
That's kind of nice, right? Wouldn't you rather just crash in some dirty hotel room than get on that friggin' airplane and not get there until 3 o'clock in the?
Yeah, way better setup. We just got to hang out after the game, not rush, not worried about packing your stuff up. So it's nice. You get a little morning just to relax and hop on a bird and then get to the next destination.
And I'm kidding, of course. You guys don't you don't stay in dirty hotel rooms. How many beds are available to you right now?
In my room, I have about 3 king-size beds. I could hop from one to the other. I take all the other beds from all the rookies. That's what I do.
That's awesome.
They sleep on the floor.
But then again, there are some people who consider all hotel rooms filthy and get really queasy about it. Have you ever gotten out the black light or anything, Marcus, when you go?
No, that's what I'm scared of. I'd rather just not know.
You'd rather not
put some towels down on the carpet and just walk on those.
Been in some bad ones though, like maybe when you were a younger guy, did you stay in some bad ones?
Oh yeah, we in the American Hockey League they don't really give you the luxurious hotels. So I remember when I was playing in the AHL, you're at like the old school. It's paper thin walls and stiff beds, and yeah, it's a little bit rough, but. This is a little bit step up. We're at the Ritz-Carlton, so it's a little bit nice.
Oh, yeah, that could be nice.
What a
life. Not too bad.
I got to tell you, that's part of what I miss about traveling with the Timberwolves is you don't get to stay in those when you're traveling for personal business.
What was the fanciest joint you stayed in, Brad? Right?
We used to stay at the Four Seasons and stuff like that all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Brad, did you
I'm not complaining.
No. Brad, did you ever order a lady?
No.
Yeah, he had one in the room waiting for him.
Such a waste.
No. Never did that.
Or were they waiting in there for you?
They weren't waiting for me. I traveled with professional basketball players.
They got to find their in somehow.
They're not waiting for a 50-year-old out of shape guy. They're waiting for the guy who's making $25 million a year. Like Marcus. No.
Marcus, the good-looking rookie kids, do they have the ladies waiting for them at the hotel sometimes?
No, not really. These guys are different. They're playing the video games now, so they're occupied.
They're occupied with social media and the damn video games, aren't they?
Yep. Times have changed.
Times have changed.
He has a disappointment in his voice.
Yeah, that's not
Marcus,
right.
I'm disappointed.
Marcus, I'm the former equivalent of Aaron Sickman. So picture a lady waiting for Aaron Sickman at the hotel.
Yeah, that's right. I not to make fun of you, but I could never see that. So
you're right. That's what you made my point. You made my point.
Oh, he's a charming guy. I bet he'd do just fine.
Imagine a lady. Well, I can imagine one lady. It would be for Sickman. It would be his mother, and she has a thermos full of soup for him.
And hot chocolate, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a family member.
Yep. She's got some vitamin C so he doesn't catch a cold on the road or something like that.
Yeah. Probably bringing him his favorite pajamas.
Right.
Oh my God.
Last time we talked, we did have a little conversation about music. I remember asking you about music in the locker room. I don't know if this is going to mean anything to you. A really strange report written up by a website called Bleacher Report. They came up with one song to sum up every NHL team's season so far. And by the way, congratulations, you guys are doing wonderfully so far.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So,
what was the song?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it at you in case you know it. One song to sum up every NHL season, every NHL team season so far. They chose a song, I've never heard of any of this stuff, a song called Let Me Love You by someone called Mario.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
I just don't know how that relates to what's it saying? Was there a background description on why they chose that song?
Yes, I'll tell you more. It's not much more, but I'll tell you. So you know the song Let Me Love You by Mario?
Yeah, it's a good serenading your woman type song, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Brad. Well, I think it's a high school dance floor song.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
That's
pretty good.
where I heard it.
It's not bad.
What was it?
Good song.
Is it Mario? Who was Mario from Saved by the Bell? What was his name?
Mario Lopez?
Is that
Mario
Mario?
Lopez.
Is that who that's not who Mario
different
is?
Mario.
Oh,
No.
okay.
This is just like Mario. It's just one name.
Yeah,
I
not,
don't know.
not the Saved by the Bell guy, not the plumber from the video games.
Yeah.
Not
But I can see Mario Lopez singing this song and doing just fine about it with the ladies. So.
Oh, I'm sure you're right.
Not Lemieux,
Yeah.
not Tremblay, none of those Marios. Okay.
No, unfortunately.
Here's the background, Marcus. This is why Bleacher Report says "Let Me Love You" by Mario applies to your hockey team's season so far. It says here, "You should let me love you, Minnesota Wild. Please be legit this time." So it's kind of a smart-ass comment.
They want us to get past the first round, is what they're saying.
I think so. Allow us to love you a little longer.
Allow
this
us to
season.
love you.
Yes.
I like it. I'll be playing that in the room tomorrow morning for pregame skate.
Might get a couple
We'll be blaring. I'm going to be blaring that now, and hopefully some other media member can catch on, and that'll be the thing that's driving our season along this year.
I'm very happy that you know the song. This would have come to a complete halt if you just said, I don't know what the heck. But
no, it's a good one.
Let the boys know.
I might not have some guys that want to sit next to me in the locker room, but I'll keep playing.
All right, Marcus Foligno, your thoughts. This is something we've been waiting to talk to you about for a couple of weeks. Your thoughts on the Lady Byng Trophy.
The Lady Byng Trophy
is
given out to the player that is most well behaved.
Yeah. Gentlemanly is the word they use, Marcus.
Yeah, they got to get rid of it. It's just I don't understand it. Like they give it to like the guys that like are like respect. Like yeah, I don't know. Does any other league do that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, they might call it something else, like a community service award or something.
Right.
No, here's something I just thought of.
Way of just keeping it that way.
Yeah.
Here's something I just thought of, Brad Ryder. In Major League Baseball, don't they have the Media Good Guy Award?
Yeah.
Come on.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
So, I mean, the difference,
I feel like if you got the Media Good Guy Award, you get made fun of in our league pretty good.
For sure.
But no, I just think the Lady Bing is just
you could rename the award or something.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like a guy who doesn't have a lot of penalty minutes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
At the end of the day, which I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think they got to get rid of that award. I don't know.
Just end it.
Doesn't really do it for me.
Okay, and that's why we were interested in your take, because you are an enforcer. You're a physical player. That's the role you play very well, and so we certainly wanted to get your take on.
But if you looked at my penalty minutes right now, I'd be up for Lady Bing right now. That's what I'll players.
But
you only have 4 penalty minutes on the season. I got to start getting my rep up here again.
4?
4. That's it. I'm going for the Lady Bing this year. That was my goal. I can't go for the most points.
Who votes on that?
I'm going for the nicest person award. That's what I'm doing.
Well, you know who we talked
I got to get some type of trophy before the Stanley Cup.
That would be nice. You know who we talked to about this? We talked to your former teammate, Zach Parise. We were actively making fun of the Lady Bing Award, just like you were a couple of minutes ago. We were actively making fun of the Lady Bing on air, and we got a text from Zach saying, hey, I was up for the Lady Bing Award in the year 2008. So we had a fun conversation with Zach, and I think Zach said, if you get in a single fight, you're automatically ineligible for the Lady Bing.
They're crazy. Yeah, he's right. He's probably right, yeah. If you show any competitive fierceness, meanness, you're done. Lady Bing is not for you.
You're not cut out for the Lady Bing lifestyle.
Crazy. But, yeah, that's a trophy I probably will never be up for.
Mm-hmm. Well,
is there someone
they gotta
on your
get rid
team?
of it.
Is there someone on your team right now who would be eligible for that?
Oh, probably Freddie Gaudreau. He's the nicest human being in the world. It's crazy.
Fred might he might be the guy, huh?
Freddie Gaudreau. Probably. I mean.
What about your goaltender there, Fleury?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Maybe
has a goalie ever won the Lady Bing?
I don't know if they I would imagine they're eligible for it. I don't know. God knows, like Billy Smith and Ron Hextall were never up for the.
Yeah, those guys are definitely out of it. Probably after the first game of the season.
Game 1.
So no goaltender has ever won the award.
Really?
No, I think it's too easy. It'd be an easy pick if that was the reason, because they don't really talk to the referees. They don't yell back. I mean, some of them do, but they're not getting in altercations all the time.
Yeah, most goalies, they're kind of odd, right? They kind of keep to themselves and hug the pipes and pray for the best. Now, Fred Gaudreau, you mentioned he's the nicest guy in the world. Is he one of those guys where he's almost nice to a fault, where you and the boys kind of walk on him now and again?
We're starting to pick at him a little bit, just on how nice he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't go too far. He cares about what people. If he sees you struggling or whatever, or if your guys are a little bit hard on someone, he'll come over and talk to you. He's just one of those guys. He's like the healing power on the team almost, but he's an awesome guy. So he's just he loves the game and just loves coming to the rink and stuff. So he's always positive every day.
I think Janelle Klein would be our.
Yes.
100%.
Easily.
The only
She'd
one.
be she's your Lady Bing.
Yeah.
She's one of the best people I've ever met.
Well, where I'm going with that is Janelle is so nice that it almost hampers her. Well, we pick on her. Like when she's at the what do you call that thing, Josh? You put money in it and food comes out.
A snack machine?
When we're at the vending machine, if Janelle's going for that last bag of Doritos, we can just hip-check her ass out of the way and take it ourselves because she's so nice she's not going to do anything to retaliate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
You know, something
we had a guy. We had a guy on our team. His name is Brad Hunt. He's another one of the nicest human beings in the world. But every morning, he was like the chippiest person in the morning. Like it would be a snowstorm just to get to the rink, and we'd be on like a losing streak, and it didn't matter. This guy was coming to the rink, and he would say, if you walked by him in the hallway, he had to say hi, how are you? It didn't, and then it got to a point where guys would walk past him in the hallway, and they would just look at Brad and go, "Not today," and they just keep walking by. So sometimes niceness it can just really tick some people off almost. But
we don't need your cheeriness
Right.
this morning, Brad Hunt.
Not today, Brad. Not today. And just keep walking by.
And he would just suck it up.
He would just like, hey. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
All right.
I'm sorry. Just going to sneak right by you here.
Nicest guy ever. Every day, just, hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. You're like, I saw you 20 hours ago at our last gig, buddy.
You got to have those people. You got to have those people in your life.
Gotta have those guys though. They keep the room light. They
Yep.
keep it funny.
Hey, how's your teammate Zuccarello doing? We heard terrible things.
He's we thought he was going to lose one nut, but he actually it survived. He's got them both still, so that's good.
He's keeping them both.
Poor guy got hit and the sun don't shine and ruptured his testicle. So surgery and
God.
Yeah, he's doing good. I thought he wore a jock, but the jock had a massive dent in it. It was hilarious, but it was funny after. Now that he's okay.
Okay.
Send it to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
We were talking about him a couple of days ago. So he took a puck to the seeds, and it dented his cup.
It dented his cup. It was a wrist shot too, so I cannot imagine what would happen if he had a slap shot at him.
Mm-hmm. But yet he's going to.
Brock Faber owes him dinner. That's all I know. He's the one that shot it.
Faber was the one who fired the puck. So, but he's keeping both of his pills. So that's wonderful news.
Yeah, he's got both of them still, so he's good. So he's coming around. But I think he's one of those positions where he can't even lift anything.
Yeah.
So he's out for a couple of weeks.
That'll keep a guy in bed for a stretch of time.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the pain.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about Zuccarello and his issue a couple days ago, we have this conversation a lot when it comes to Major League Baseball. Hard to believe that there are Major League Baseball infielders who have to look at 120-mile-per-hour line drives and such for 162 games a year. It's hard to believe there are some of them that do not wear a cup because they find it uncomfortable. You tell us, Marcus Foligno, you're in the friggin' locker room. Are there any of your teammates who say, yeah, I know the risks, but I ain't wearing a cup out there because it aggravates me or it's uncomfortable?
I think everyone in our league wears a cup. That's, to me, is crazy about baseball. I thought all those guys in the infield.
That's what we were talking about, yeah.
Like, that's insane. But because a grounder would just come up and, like, take a weird bounce and hit you right up in there. But for us, like, for me, like, it's not even about, like, getting hit with a puck. It's more like guys spearing you and lifting. Like, some guys are pretty nasty. They'll just, like, put their stick between your legs and lift up. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's more like that. And then, obviously, yeah, I don't want to be in front of the net battling someone and take a weird turn and the puck's right there and hits you in the pills. So I think the majority of our guys, yeah, I think everyone wears a cup in our league.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Oh, yeah.
It's frightening to think that there's anyone that would take that chance. And, we told the story, 2 weeks ago, last week, about Adrian Beltre of the Texas Rangers. I mean, he took a line drive to the seeds, and one of them just imploded, and it was never seen again. It was gone forever. It was.
Adios.
All right, something else we covered recently, Marcus Foligno, we wanted your take on. So Alexander Ovechkin is creeping up on Gretzky's all-time goal record.
Crazy.
I know.
Crazy.
So are you cheering for the guy, or are you one of those that would say, well, I don't want to see the record broken because it's Gretzky and this or that? I'm guessing there are people on both sides of this conversation.
No, I'm all for it. I'm all for him breaking the record. I think it's unbelievable to witness history, and it's pretty amazing. You get a guy that can do it 800 plus times, and I don't know. He hasn't. The craziest thing about Ovi is like he hasn't like changed his position on like how he scores his goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the guy on the power play that sits at the top of the half circle and stands there and stands there and stands there. They feed it to him. He just one-times it, goes in. It's just crazy. He's been able to do it for so long. But I'm a big fan of just, witnessing history, and that'd be pretty. He's going to do it, and it's going to be pretty special. And I just hope he doesn't do it against us. That's it. I think that's the biggest thing. Everyone wants to see him do it, but no one wants to see him do it against their team.
Well, but if Ovi and the Capitals hit that mark against you boys, you're going to be on ESPN Classic until the day that you die. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hopefully it's like we're winning 6-something, and then he just gets his cookie, and then that's it.
It doesn't count for anything else.
That'll be good.
Gets his cookie. You're right about how, it's not as if he's had to dramatically change his game to keep up with the times or whatever. Alexander Ovechkin, you're right. He just kind of hovers on the power play and waits for that one-timer opportunity. There's only one player that I've ever watched that was as devastating as Alexander Ovechkin in that position, on the power play, waiting for that one-time pass. And despite the fact that everyone knew it was coming, it would still get past the goaltender, and that was Brett Hull.
Oh, yeah. He was unreal. He scored, he just powered it by guys and got his shot off so quick. He was like the best goal scorer.
And he was.
That's all he did.
And he was.
That's all he did was just score goals.
By no means anywhere near the biggest and strongest guy on the ice either, but Brett Hull would just laser that sumbitch. It drove me nuts when I was a kid because I hated his guts. He played for all the wrong teams, but yeah, Brett Hull and Alexander Ovechkin, I'd compare the two of them in that category.
I was at I was a Buffalo Sabres fan when I was younger, and then I was at the game in Game 6 against Dallas Stars when his foot was in the crease.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I got a little bit of love-hate with Brett Hull, but, still an unbelievable goal scorer. But that was, I remember I went to sleep. I was in the stands that game, and I actually fell asleep, and I woke up, and Dallas Stars was cheering in the corner. So I was like, what? It was insane.
How old of a kid were you in '99? I remember that game like it was yesterday.
I was 8.
And so you're with your folks and whatnot, and you friggin' fell smooth asleep at Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, it was what? It was 3 overtimes, 4?
Oh, it was a long one. I don't recall, but it must have been 1 o'clock in the morning out there in Buffalo.
Yeah, way past my bedtime. So, but I got to see the Stanley Cup, but they got handed to the wrong team that night, unfortunately. But
man, see, I was cheering.
And that was the last time Buffalo Sabres ever seen the playoffs, but that was it.
I'll be damned. So, I mean, that was a great series. That was a great game. You had Dominic Hasek out there in net for the Sabres. You had Ed Belfour for the Stars. You had guys like Mike Modano, Joe Nieuwendyk, of course, Hull, Sergei Zubov. Who were the Sabres guns at that? Stu Barnes. Who am I missing from this? Alexander McGillney, Miroslav Shatar.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Well,
they had like just a hard-working team.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really have like the crazy superstars. Like they had some good guys, but geez, I'm trying to think of like who their top scorer was.
God, yeah. Was it Shatan or McGillney or maybe McGillney had moved on at that point.
Yeah.
Tiny little guy.
Michael Pekka, maybe.
Pekka had to have been out there.
Yeah.
Maybe Eric Rasmussen here from St. Louis Park, Minnesota, I think might have been on that roster. Is anyone else on the air? Is it just me and Marcus boring the hell out of everybody?
We're just talking about Buffalo Sabres hockey.
Yeah. Marcus, thanks again. Good luck in Edmonton here in a couple of nights. It's always a good time, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It is that time of the year at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Schedule your tune-up, boost your indoor air quality, or grab huge deals on a new system. Do not wait. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Welcome to Talkville, the ultimate Smallville rewatch podcast.
Lionel Luthor stops by the kid home.
Is that Seinfeld? What is the deal?
Trying to blackmail her for the footage.
Come on. He sees an envelope and goes, he must be getting blackmailed.
He's behind it, the whole thing.
He's not.
He is. He made her think she was being blackmailed.
He's the one that... Oh, I didn't get that.
I was surprised. Yeah. That was a great scene.
Interesting things of note.
Talkville, wherever you listen.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
I caught the ass end of last night's football game. That was kind of a fun setup, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, wasn't that fun to watch with the snow flying, big heavy flakes, everyone drunk, roaring up and down, having a good time?
I caught part of it. I didn't really watch most of it.
Enthusiasm is obvious. Randy Shaver, the old...
It looked like the 1970s.
It did.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, it looked like 1970s NFL football, which is pretty cool.
You're exactly right.
Between that and the Wolves game, so.
You're a Wolves game. That's what you are, Brad Ryder.
Yeah.
You know what? The football game was better than the Wolves game.
Well, it was. You're right.
Andrew DePaula, is that stuff as fun to play in as it looked like on last night's edition of Thursday Night Football? Uh-huh.
Oh, he's excited, too.
Oh, really?
Hello?
Oh, hey, good morning, guys.
There you are.
Andrew DePaula, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to talk to you. We were just jaw-jacking about last night's Thursday Night Football game. Did you catch the weather that was affecting both ball clubs in last night's game, or did you miss it?
No, I got a chance to see the weather. Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool.
Is that stuff fun to play in?
No.
I imagine from your standpoint, trying to grip a football and snap it, that's probably not very cool.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to, like, ruin anyone's, bubble about playing in inclement weather, but no, not really. I mean, it's cool to watch.
Yeah.
But, like, playing in it, it's not all that.
Would you take that over crazy heat? Or would you still prefer to play in the heat?
I'd prefer to play in the heat. Yeah, I'd prefer to play in the heat.
Yeah, I understand. You can't get your footing, like Brad Ryder said, with your gig, having to fire that football with accuracy back to a holder or a punter. Everything's slippery and this and that. But, yeah, it brings me back to when we were kids. Those were the days where we'd always rush out the door and go play a game of football. When a pile of snow was coming down, it cushioned the blow a little bit. It was just fun to play in that stuff, and you're right. It looks fun, but maybe not the greatest experience if that's what you do for a living. But the Cleveland Browns beat Pittsburgh last night on Thursday Night Football. Andrew DePaula, today is officially the beginning of our holiday season because going on right now at Rick's Cabaret Gentlemen's Club in downtown Minneapolis, we are officially 1 hour and 37 minutes into our big holiday toy drive where folks come on down to the Boom Boom Room, donate a toy to a kid who could use some laughs come the holiday season, and then we drink and carry on with topless women. Today is huge.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, wonderful things have been donated for 20-some years because of our Toys for Tatas toy drive, and we thank everyone in advance for making this part of their day. So today is officially the beginning of our holiday season. What about you? Do you think it is the holiday season yet, or is it after Thanksgiving? Do you wait for the month of December? When does the holiday season begin in your mind?
Oh, man. In my mind, it was always like right after Thanksgiving because I'm like, let's enjoy the holidays as they come. I don't want to, like, start one, skip over one. Like, I want to always enjoy them. But I'm going to be honest. Now that I have kids and they're 5 and 3, like, our Christmas tree's up. I'm just saying, our Christmas tree's up. Those kids were like, nah, we want the tree up. I'm like, all right.
I mean, have you ornaments and everything? Everything's
no ornaments. No, just the tree. We're putting it in stages so we don't just get it up there and then it's like, okay, now it's just here for the next month and a half.
So once Halloween was over, they more or less demanded, look, it's the holiday season.
Yes. Yep.
That's interesting. Randy Shaver, you are saying yep in the background. You know something or another about that?
Oh, my Christmas trees have been up for 3 weeks and completely fully decorated. So, yeah, my wife is completely overboard on Christmas, loves Christmas, and as soon as Halloween is over, it's like, okay, we'll celebrate Thanksgiving. Yeah, we'll have family here, but they're going to have to sit amongst the trees during Thanksgiving.
So it's always been that way. It's been that way since.
It's always been that way. Even when we had kids, she's a Christmas person. She just loves Christmas and she loves decorating. And so, yeah, I get it with Andrew. I'm the same way. I'm surrounded by Santa Claus, and it's not even November 21st.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's a text message from Papa Bear Jesus, who says, you guys got to get in the holiday spirit. November 1 is the official start of the holiday season.
Wow. Playing Christmas music on the radio.
Things are different now. They are.
They are. You're right.
Folks hop on it immediately, immediately after Halloween is over. Folks hop all over it.
There's nothing wrong with including Thanksgiving and all that, too. I mean, you kind of look forward to that day a little bit, and you can include it in everything.
You're right.
I think the better question is, when do you take everything down?
Oh yeah.
Like, when's it over for you?
Randy, when
well,
does
how
everything
about well, for us this year, we will take things down much quicker because we are actually leaving the state for a while.
All right.
So we are getting out of here for a little snowbird excursion.
Okay.
So we're going to be taking things down. Well, at least that's my viewpoint. We'll be taking things down sooner than what we normally do. To answer Andrew's question, it lingers here. I don't know about his house, but it's like probably third week of January by the time we finally get to getting everything down.
That is a good question, Andrew, and that's a good word you use there, Randy Shaver. Linger. Some folks, you go to their house end of January, everything's still up. The lights are blinking at night. I think there needs to be a hard ending as well.
Well, Andrew, with your kids the ages that they are, they probably don't care if stuff comes down as soon as those gifts are open.
I don't think they see anything but the gifts.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a hard end also. You can't just let it go on until friggin' March, for Christ's sake.
I think I will say this. There's a cottage industry out there. If somebody wants to come into my home and take down all my Christmas stuff, I don't mind putting it up, but I hate taking it down.
Yep.
There are businesses that do that.
I've got a number for you, Randy. I'll text it to you off here.
There are businesses, Josh, who will come to your home and clean up your Christmas mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever hired them before?
No.
Wow.
Remember, there was a period in my 20s where I was a grown man in my 60s, and I would listen to WCCO constantly.
Okay.
And one time they had they interviewed a local guy, who ended up going out to California because he would decorate for friends for Christmas, and then he would take down their decorations and stuff. And eventually, so many people asked him to do it, he had to start charging. And then then he could charge more and more and more. And eventually, he goes to California, and that's all he does is decorate for the holidays. And he's making a killing doing it. And there's local companies that do it too.
Well, that sounds like something a few of us could use.
Brad, doesn't your son work for one?
Josh, the funny thing, and not to get off on this tangent too much, but he saw you yesterday. He works for the company that you had out yesterday.
I found that out yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
Somebody called me, and they did something else for me.
That was my son's crew that came out to your house yesterday from Pine Creek.
I wish I would have known that.
Brad Ryder's son was in your home yesterday.
Yeah, so they do all kinds of stuff.
And they do the cleanup. They do the cleanup afterwards too.
Oh,
the cleanup after what?
Well, they take the stuff down, I think.
Oh, so your son...
You talking about outside lights? I'm talking about inside.
Okay. I'm talking about outside.
Yeah, there's companies that'll do all that for you, Randy.
Here's
even the inside.
Yeah.
Wow.
Give him a phone call. Here's a text from Brian. A listener says his friggin' wife currently has 5 trees up that are 8 feet plus.
Wow.
That's madness.
That is
What's
madness.
this guy do for a living? How big's his house?
I don't know. Get
That's
back
a
to us,
forest.
Brian.
That's not a tree.
What do you have, a ranch or something? What the hell are you talking about? 5 trees that are 8 feet plus. Andrew DePaula, his ball club, the Minnesota Vikings, are at the Chicago Bears noon on Sunday. I love Chicago. Do you like Chicago, Andrew?
I do. Yeah, I really like Chicago. I played there for 1 year.
Oh. I thought it was just the Raiders and the Yuccaneers. Am I missing somebody else?
Chicago.
Oh, that's the one
White
I was
Sox.
missing. The Chicago Bears. So yeah, you must have you know everywhere's to go around there in Chicago.
Did they invite you on the road trip last week?
Oh, yeah.
Let's follow up. Did you go last week or not?
I went. Yeah, I traveled last week.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wound up going.
Did you feel like, last week you said you wanted to be able to contribute or else you probably didn't want to go. Did you feel like you did contribute?
Not like in anything that you could quantify. It's funny, like I get to my locker and I'm changing and then I'm doing my thing and I come back to my locker and there's a stopwatch, like just sitting like right in my locker, like right on my bag, on my sweatshirt. And I'm like, this is cool, stopwatch, whatever. And so I just walk out for like pregame warm-ups. I'm getting out there and they're like, all right, we want you to get, these times on these things, hang time, operation time, this and that. I'm like, okay, got it. No one ever asked me for a time all day. So I'm just out there just timing things. I was just timing random things at one point. I'm like, all right, let's see how long it takes this guy to get to the water cooler.
You could play the heel and just go up to people and go, yeah, I would have done that a lot differently. You tell them afterwards how you would have done it.
Well, that's cold-blooded. So they handed you what do you call that thing? What's the backup quarterback hold again? What do you call that thing?
Clipboard.
Clipboard.
The clipboard.
So they handed you a clipboard. You're taking down all this information. The game's over. No one asks you for the results.
Nope. Not a thing.
I mean, did they think Go ahead, Andrew.
I'm like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But like, if it's just busy work, like I can figure out stuff to do on my own. I don't need busy work.
Well, at least the weather was nice.
Somebody could have at least asked you for it and taken it, even if they weren't going to use it.
Did you get the better food you were talking about? Last week you told us, sometimes when you're on the IR, you get a little better food.
Yeah, but this time it wasn't in the locker room. It was like across like the hall. So you had to leave the locker room and go across the hall to this like little like almost like a media room that was set up with like a table. It was like 2 or 3 tables, and then they had like the spread there. But like I felt weird leaving the locker room and coming back in with like a fistful of like burgers or dogs or something like, oh, hey guys, they're going over like blitzes and like offensive adjustments, and I'm there just like stuffing my face.
Do your best imitation.
Couldn't you grab something on the way out, like as you're walking back to the field, just sneak over there and
I probably could have, but I'm weird. I don't know. I'm weird like that.
Just eating a burger on the sidelines.
Well, we're glad you had fun. We're glad you got to make that trip and enjoy the junk food and whatnot that's available to injured players.
Depot, your story of the stopwatch you were given and then they never checked up on it. But you didn't mean not to, Jesus said. It's like giving your little brother the unplugged video game controller so they think they're playing the video game. Do that with our son.
That's wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong, Mr. Jesus. Dang.
You used to do that
Make me feel worse.
My youngest, like playing Mario, if the whole family was playing Mario Kart, we'd be like, here you go, buddy, pick your character. Like he was playing, and it was the same
He has
thing.
no idea what's happening.
No batteries in that
He
thing.
thinks he's playing.
He thought so.
Awesome. Well, not to darken the conversation at all, Andrew DePaula, especially during the official beginning of our holiday season, but this friggin' story going around about athletes being victims of home burglaries, it's gotten to the point now where, from what I read yesterday or the day before, the NFL sent out an official security alert and all that. I mean, what's the vibe on this with the boys in the locker room?
Well, we actually had been alerted to this a couple weeks ago. Like, we had known that, like, this ring of burglaries and this gang was going around to different cities and targeting professional athletes' homes. So we kind of knew about it. But, now we're making a joke. It's funny that it gets national news once Mahomes and Kelsey's homes get broken into.
That's when people started caring?
Yeah, that's when the cops were like, we need to do something about this.
Ain't that the friggin' truth? Oh,
Not
man.
Taylor's boyfriend.
I don't blame you for having a little bit of a sarcastic edge about that.
That's funny.
But this is just a massive setup that these crews have. They're hitting NBA players, and I mean, it just takes all the wind out of my sails. It just makes me sick. I mean, any level of crime like this. Please don't get me wrong. It's not as if there's probably a few people saying, "Well, why do you only care when the pro athletes get?" That's not what I'm saying. Any of this type of crime makes me sick. When Josh talks about the home break-ins he's gone through in his life, it makes me friggin' sick. It's just unfortunate that this shouldn't be the way we operate. It just troubles me. So I feel for you fellas who might be a little nervous and on edge about the whole thing.
Yeah, it's weird, like, when you're away and you just know, like, your family's there, or maybe you don't have family and you're just like, well, that's all my stuff just sitting there for a night or two that I can't keep an eye on. And it's just not a good feeling, not something you want on your mind when you're traveling to, go play a football game.
No, hell no.
It's scary that these guys don't care about security systems. It doesn't bother them. Cameras, all that kind of stuff. They just completely.
Well, they know that no one's there. They know at least I've got however many minutes until the response team comes. So they're like, yeah, we can not take our time, but we have a certain allotted time that we can get in and get out in. It's a sophisticated group. They know what they're doing.
That sucks. It really sucks. So, in closing now, because we know you got to get going in a couple of minutes, back to the holiday season. So, are you going to be able to have I don't know your schedule. Are you going to be able to have a full-on good time Thanksgiving, friends, family, the whole schmear there for you?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know what you mean, like just in general, or like
to have the whole day to yourself, kind of a thing. Yeah.
We haven't gotten our schedule for that week, for next week, or even that day. So I'm not sure what that looks like. But usually the coach here understands that people have families and lives, and they want to get out of here at a decent time to spend the holidays with, friends, family if they're in town. So, yeah, usually we get out of here at a decent time to enjoy it.
Do players bitch about the quarterback matchup on Thanksgiving Day? Because the fans sure seem to be upset about it. Who was it, the Giants and the Cowboys? Nobody wants to watch the Giants and the Cowboys. Randy's laughing because
that's nap time. We've already talked about it.
We've established
that's
that, haven't we?
Nap time.
All right, Andrew. Yeah. Tommy Cutlets against, what's his name again? Cooper Rush?
Cooper Rush.
Oh, see. I say embrace bad football. Bad football can be fun, too, right, Andrew DePaul? It doesn't all have to be perfect.
If you say so, If you say so.
I don't know. I like it. Hey, man, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you. We're off next week, so we'll
Thanks,
talk
guys.
to you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye, Andrew DePaula.
See y'all.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Backtracks.
Subreddit, Josh. Do you subreddit?
Okay, well, there's a couple Reddit threads I follow, and you'd call those subreddits.
How often do you subreddit? How much is too much subreddit?
I don't know. I'm maybe once a weeker.
Okay.
I'll follow up on usually kind of some nerdy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I get some time.
Surprising.
I don't know what that. Actually, you're talking to a snack right here.
Yeah. That's
a
the
little
attitude.
respect, please.
Yeah, you're not a nerd at all. You're a snack.
Yeah, it's some nerdy stuff. It's like mostly like subreddits on certain programs, like or I guess you call them apps now, things like that.
That sounds thrilling.
Yeah, shortcuts, Like,
dang, dude.
So you'll fall for it now and again.
All right, I deserved it, Ashley.
You'll go ahead and you'll subreddit now and again. Somebody posted some interesting information on the Am I Overreacting subreddit. Okay? I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I think I can figure it out.
So those subreddits and stuff, I'll see in articles, right? Somebody will do just this. They'll say, hey, check this out from the subreddit. I should start following those because, I mean, do you guys check those often?
Yes,
no, I'm same with you,
day.
Josh. I see them and pop up in articles.
Never saw it.
How much of it is garbage, Ashley, and how much, like sometimes we'll talk about the am I the a-hole one?
Right.
And there's some pretty funny stuff.
Right.
Is it always that good, Ashley, or is there, you have to really sift through it?
The majority of them are pretty good.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't do any of this kind of stuff.
No, I'm unfamiliar. But it falls into place nicely, I think, here, because yesterday we had a lot of fun when we were talking to Randy Shaver, talking sports. We were running through the latest nonsense from Dallas Cowboys owner Jared Jones. The sun comes pouring through their windows of their ballpark there where the Dallas Cowboys play, right? This is a conversation we were having yesterday. The sun comes pouring onto the playing field, and it blinds the players on the field. But this Jared Jones is such an oversensitive prick. When someone came up with the idea of, hey, let's just pull the curtains so the boys can see, he had a dramatic overreaction, and he said, well, why don't we just knock the whole stadium over then and start up again, right?
Yeah,
right.
Dramatic, blow it all up.
Dramatic overreaction.
So you alluded yesterday in another part of the conversation that you and your wife don't know how to cook. Right? You kind of you didn't so much say it as you alluded to it.
Yeah.
And didn't your wife respond to you via text?
She did. She texted back and said, well, then, why don't we just burn the house to the ground? Why do we even need a kitchen then? Let's destroy the kitchen.
I think that counts as an overreaction.
Yes, you're right. So it kind of plays nicely into where we're going here. What the hell did my computer just do? Okay, it's back in business. Someone posted some information, a story, in the Am I Overreacting subreddit. Here's the story. My 36-year-old boyfriend, this is a young lady speaking, my 36-year-old boyfriend of 2 years. He was in the bathroom at his apartment. I opened the door to grab my allergy medication. By the way, Josh, your mom texted me earlier. You left your acne medication at home.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to text her real quick. Bring my retainer as well.
She wanted me to remind you
Yeah.
to stop by her place and pick up your acne medication. My 36-year-old boyfriend of 2 years was in the bathroom at his apartment. I opened the door to grab my allergy meds. I didn't think to knock. Well, why not? But anyway, we'll have to just move past that. I didn't think to knock and figured he'd lock the door if he needed to. When I opened the door, he was squatting while holding a wad of toilet paper directly under his ass.
Why are you not locking the door for this activity?
Like a catcher's mitt. He had wrapped a hand in toilet paper, and he's holding that directly under his ass cheeks in the squatting position. I screamed and I ran out, she says.
I wouldn't know how to respond to that either. But you're right, Ashley. If I had a habit like that, I locked the door anyway. But I'm very curious to know, is there any part of them that wanted to be caught? Nah, probably not, right?
It
just didn't think to lock it.
Interesting thought, Josh, but I would lean towards no on that. I like how you're trying to cover every angle, but I think likely the answer there is no. So, the dude was preparing to make a deuce into his hand.
As is tradition.
According to his girlfriend. He explained to me, look, there's no denying what you saw.
You've seen some things. I can admit that.
I can't spin this.
Exactly, I can't spin this.
I'm going to try.
No spin I can put on this. I was in the squatting position. My hand was wrapped in toilet paper, and I was prepared to drop a log into the palm of my hand. There's no denying what you saw, he said. But in explaining himself, and I can't believe this is a real person, I don't know. He does this to make less sound as opposed to deucing directly into the bowl because he's shy and he would be embarrassed if she heard him cutting a turd.
Turn the water in the sink on or something.
Actually, I know I've heard from people that they will put they'll do the toilet paper trick, but they'll put the toilet paper in the toilet.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, not in their around their hand.
It's like a silencer.
Yes.
It's like a muffler. They'll load the water in the bowl with toilet paper to cushion the blow.
Yep.
So strange to me.
Why?
So he explained himself. I do this because I'm shy, I'm embarrassed. I don't want you to hear the plop, plop, this, that, when I'm unleashing the fury in my bathroom. Her question is, Josh, am I overreacting by thinking this is weird? The obvious answer is no.
No, that's odd. It sounds like he admits that's odd.
Am I overreacting that I think this is weird? If you did not think that was weird, then I would be concerned.
I really want to be there when someone tells him the trick you mentioned, Ashley, because there are times I miss the most obvious answer because I'm very all or nothing, and I have trouble seeing the gray. I think I mentioned this before. There was one time we're trying to figure out what to have for dinner. My wife's like, how about we get pizza? And I'm like, well, I love pizza, but I don't think I could finish a whole pizza right now. And she's like, why don't you have half a pizza? And it never occurred to me. Like, sometimes those super easy things never occur to me.
I have that problem.
And so, because I think I'm very black or white. But in this case, I'd love to see the realization on his face when he goes, oh, I could have just put that in the toilet.
Could have put
so much easier. I just take the toilet paper, put that in there.
Now, listeners are telling us when you load the water, when you load the bowl with toilet paper to cushion the blow, it is called the lily pad.
Oh, that's a great name.
Funny.
I don't think I've ever heard of that. I mean, it made perfect sense, Ashley, when you were explaining it to me, but I don't think I'd ever heard of that method before. I'm not shy when it comes to the bathroom. You guys know that, so this stuff is all pretty foreign to me. So am I overreacting, she says. Of course not.
That would change the rest of our relation. Like, that would change the way I looked at him.
It would have
forever.
It would have to.
How would you... I can't have sex with that.
Yeah, it would take you a while, wouldn't it?
Every single time he comes out of the bathroom now, you ask, did you wash your hands?
Yeah, see, and that would bother me is how many times have you done this and then came and sat next to me?
I also couldn't have sex with that.
And also, this guy's having a lot of faith in himself that he's going to produce a solid movement.
I didn't even think of that.
Say what?
Because what if it came out a little runny, a little liquidy?
Oh, it's all over his
and then it's it goes right through the toilet paper.
He must be a healthy guy.
People are bringing up other good points about why you'd want to put the toilet paper muffler in there. Avoid streaks, right?
Oh.
And also, you don't have to worry about the mermaid's kiss. Or Poseidon's kiss. Poseidon's kiss.
Poseidon's. And who cares about streaks? Don't you got I always keep a
toilet brush?
Yeah, I got one of I got two of them. I wear a holster. So, Ashley, it's funny that you say you could never have sex with that. That would also change all of my feelings toward that person. And I have a buddy, I'm sure I've told this before, who he thought maybe he could never love his wife again after what he saw what she left in a toilet.
Oh, is that bad?
He pulled me aside, and it was like one of those conversations where even though we were alone, he was still kind of whispering, and he got a little emotional.
Oh, poor guy.
She just left this mass. And he said after seeing it, I don't know if I can love her anymore.
You shouldn't have to see something like that. No.
We're getting into, or some construction workers are texting saying that you always put down toilet paper in a freshly cleaned porta potty so you don't get Smurf butt.
Oh! Yeah. I've heard of that because I've spent a lot of time in porta potties. I've heard of Smurf ass.
I never have. That makes so much sense.
All right. So this lady, God be with you. No, you're not overreacting. I would, like I think somebody already said, I'd like to hear more on where does this relationship go now?
And
you can continue to kiss and hug and hold hands and make love to this boyfriend after learning what he does in the bathroom?
Because I think for me, outside of picturing that, and of course that would have to come up every single argument you ever have.
Yes.
But outside, I'd wonder, well, what else is going on? What other kind of decisions are being made that I'm not aware of?
Also, brilliant that you saw that angle, Josh. Absolutely. If this is what this guy does for a deuce, what does he do with other random activities? That's not the word activities. What does he do for other random bodily functions is the word I was looking for.
Now,
does he pee in his front pocket?
Like, I'm wondering, is this something he's done since he was a kid? And it's just been his tradition? This is how he does it?
Did his mother used to beat on him if he made too much noise in the bathroom? Where did this come
him
from?
or his sisters, has all sisters or
Yeah,
something?
does he do it in public bathrooms?
When he would streak the toilet as a kid, he'd get the belt or something like that. Where did this torture come from? What kind of abuse was going on behind closed doors that this is the way you operate as a 36-year-old? Can I tell you something else on the topic? I've seen somebody do this.
What? As a joke?
No.
Were they drunk?
No, you didn't. Why?
Wildly, beyond wildly, almost fatally intoxicated. Oh, and they did not have their hand underneath to catch it. They were just going to let the floor catch it. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh, I'd kick him in the face.
I was going into their bedroom.
You got them red-handed.
Late at night. Late. Almost morning. On a day very much like today, John. And I had to go into their bedroom, and when I opened the door, there was something blocking the door. What the hell? Because there's no lock on this door. What's going on in here? And I finally forced my way in, and there was a grown person, near fatally intoxicated again, squatting and making a poo pile on the floor of their bedroom.
Oh, man.
I've never.
Did you stay for that?
Just what see the exciting conclusion?
As long as I had to in order to figure out what it was I was looking at.
I need to see how the story ends.
What was it, like a dog? Did they make eye contact when you made it through the door?
Their eyes, Wapple? You're wondering about their eyes?
Yeah.
Lifeless eyes. Like a doll's eyes. Josh, we've done the feces thing. We've had that discussion. Where do we go from here? Can you check the morning radio handbook?
Well, certainly sex talk would be on the list.
What's the natural transition? Over to sex?
Yeah, maybe bragging about something.
Bragging.
Like
that doesn't come natural to me.
Something like overconfidence? No. Maybe talking about a rock star you met. I'm trying to go through the
I've
rock
met a lot of
radio.
rock stars. Talk about your motorcycle. We've done that.
Yeah. All your tattoos.
What's up with this? How about this? We'll close out the show. What's up with this young kid who can't find a proper place to masturbate? Have you heard about this kid?
Yeah, it's weird that anybody would ever post something that, well, you can say that about a lot of topics nowadays, but first and foremost, this has never happened in real life. Nobody's ever not been able to find a place. And you're just like looking for masturbation material, right? He's going to get off on people's responses to what he's asking.
What is the matter with the young kids, Josh? I hear what you're saying. Speaking of letters written for social media, you just send a question out there. Doesn't matter what it is. Then you have complete strangers respond, and then you live by that. That's how the young folks do it. So let me read you this one. It's apparently a young kid who just can't find the proper place or a proper place to masturbate. I'm a freshman in the dorms going to college somewhere. I'm a freshman. I live in the dorms. One of my roommates, it's close quarters in those dorms, isn't it, Josh?
Oh, yeah. I lived in one for a while.
Yeah, my buddies did. I remember the first time I walked into their dorm room, the first thing out of my mouth was, "This is it? This is a couple of bunk beds and a tiny little television? You guys really got to live like this?" It looked miserable. It looks terrible.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Our beds were, did you? I did love living in the dorm. It was fun. But you're right. I mean, our beds were on the opposite side of the room, but if we wanted to reach out, we could hold hands.
Yeah.
And we did.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, Dana, I'm sure you love the college life and being away from mom. I'm talking specifically about the setting. My God, you're just tripping over each other all day long. You can't even crack a fart without someone.
I'd
anyway,
go crazy.
So this kid's a freshman at a dormitory. He says, one of my roommates is an international student who just skips class and plays League of Legends in our dorm room. 16 hours a day he's in there. Jeez. He even gets his groceries delivered, and he eats all of his meals at his little desk in the dorm room. He literally never leaves the room for more than, say, 5 minutes, 10 minutes if he decides to shower.
Bruh.
Sounds like an awful roommate.
Yep.
So here's where the kid is going with this. Aside from my room, the only other place that I thought I could masturbate is the shared bathrooms.
Oh, no.
But whacking one loose on the public shower floor seems so disgusting
Good for him.
and heinous.
He's got morals. I like that.
It's been like 3 weeks. At this point, I can literally feel a pressure whenever I sit down.
Oh.
And then he goes ahead and just dumps this question out to all the other kids at his college. Does anyone know a place I can go to masturbate? Seriously. That's the end of the letter.
Poor kid just needs to get the poison out.
Oh.
Well, now that you've heard, who's got some advice for him?
Your car.
Yeah, but I was thinking he probably doesn't have a car.
Oh, dark corner of a library.
You take your car to a stranger's driveway in the middle of the night. You make sure the interior light is on, and you get the poison out.
That doesn't sound right.
Maybe like a gas station with a single toilet that the door can lock.
If he won't,
there you go.
Wapple, if he won't do it in the public dorms.
Yeah.
Oh, true. I mean, he's in college.
He probably won't do it at the Chevron gas station.
You know,
there's somebody around there that'll take care of that for him, I'm sure. This is just like an all-boys college.
See, again, you miss the simplest answer sometimes. Try and find a willing partner.
Yeah.
That's probably the way to go.
What?
Yeah.
You know how much work that can be for some people?
That's true.
It's not even it's gonna be like 5 minutes of his life too. Not even once he finally finds somebody.
3 weeks of build-up.
Oh, it's just stupid.
Here, Steelers fan Jesus said he should just squat over the toilet and catch it.
Oh, no.
Now, that's a callback joke right there.
I remember the first time I heard a guy claim he was suffering from MSB, massive sperm buildup. I thought it was that's about the reaction I gave him to.
Just that's funny.
Yeah, but I still remember it for some reason because I'd never heard it before.
I've never heard that referred to it that way either.
Masturbate responsibly, I think, is a message we should close out with.
Yeah, and you know what? Take a hint. Just when you're around someone that wants to masturbate, give them their privacy so they can masturbate.
Just ask nicely. Can I have 10 minutes just alone with the laptop?
It's an unbelievable world that we live in.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It is that time of the year at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Schedule your tune-up, boost your indoor air quality, or grab huge deals on a new system. Do not wait. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast.
Multiple 10-win teams in the NFC are going to miss the playoffs.
Who are the multiple? So one of them's going to be an NFC North team, is what you're saying?
Perhaps.
And then another one's what?
I think this could happen.
I'll push back and
Circle
call that
back.
an overreaction. Come react or overreact with us. I like your moxie. I like the cut of your jib right there. Overreaction Monday, wherever you listen. It's game over.
Over, man.
The Half-Assed Morning Show backtracks.
We want to thank our guests, Janelle Klein and C. Willie Miles. And, there's something that I wanted to ask you that I almost forgot. Thank you to a couple listeners who brought it up again via our text machine. We were talking earlier about how today is National Video Game Day, and we're all supposed to fall down and touch ourselves because of that. I made a prediction about the two of you, knowing you to the level that I believe I know you. I predicted that neither one of you have ever played a video game. You didn't strike me as the type. Have either one of you ever played a video game? You have?
Oh, yes.
What have you played?
Arcade.
Arcade games.
Yeah.
That was what Josh predicted.
Yeah.
I just thought of you, C. Willie, as the type when you were growing up. And, of course, in the early 80s, arcades were hugely popular. But
Right.
you struck me as the type where you and your family thought, that's a waste of time. We should be outside doing this, that, or the other thing.
Never played them all the way through. I only started playing them when I was in college.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. A lot of downtime.
Pac-Man, Galactica.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. I
Galactica
figured.
was mine.
You talking about Galaga?
Yeah.
Galaga.
Galactica. Galaga.
Close enough.
I figured with arcades, like how.
Just played it the other day.
You played it. You played it the other day.
Yeah, and I'm buying a machine from, and it's ordered. I'll get it. I got it from Costco.
So
Oh,
you're
yeah. One up. One of those one up.
You're at a level that I never anticipated. Janelle Klein, you ever played a video game?
Never.
I was half right.
Wow.
Yeah,
Never
we
played-
figured if of the two of you, you'd probably have never played. What about on your phone?
No.
Never.
I remember growing up, like boys in my neighborhood had them.
That's
They
hilarious.
would play them, but no, I've never even tried.
That's awesome.
So you never played like an Angry Birds or Snake or anything? on
Nothing.
your phone?
Frogger, Pitfall, Pac-Man.
Nothing.
Pong.
Wow, that's really hard to believe.
I love
I don't
that
think so
about
with
you.
Janelle.
No,
That's
not with Janelle.
I just
What's wrong
think
with
that,
you?
like, everybody has at least played a phone game.
So I knew for sure C. Willie had played video games, but Janelle, I kind of figured you probably hadn't. C. Willie, so you're such a sports fan. Did you ever get into like Madden or any of like the show?
No, I
or
can't
anything
stand
like
that or Golden Tee. I never did any of that.
That's surprising. I
Yeah.
thought you would have been into Golden
No,
Tee.
I don't even like going to. I hate Top Golf. I hate going into a golf simulator. I need to be outdoors to play golf. That's to me. It's just I need grass under my feet, and someone to carry my bag. I'm bougie like that.
Janelle, don't be embarrassed. I think that's really cool. I think
No,
that's
it
really,
isn't.
really unique and original.
It's good hand-eye coordination.
Maybe you're not considering this. What about Oregon Trail? Did you Where in the World is Carmen
I know
Sandiego?
what those are, but I never played those.
Your school didn't play it?
I don't think so.
Sims.
I don't know what Sims is.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Wapple can teach you, and he can teach you how
I
to
don't even
kill
know what that
all the
is.
This
people.
is tough.
Don't change, Janelle. Don't change. Really, no, I think that's really cool. I think that's really unique.
You're raw.
I mean, listen, if I were to try, I think we all know I'd be terrible at it because I have no hand-eye coordination.
I bet you my friggin' wife has never played a video game. Josh, you met my friggin' wife once or twice, haven't you?
I've known her for decades.
I bet you she's never played a video game.
I could see that.
Yeah. Now that it's entered my mind, if you're alive, wife, text me. I bet she's never touched any video game in her life.
Wow.
It is kind of crazy, like you said, Ashley, I mean, with phone games being so prolific.
Yeah.
That you'd think maybe you would have tried one.
And she's even got two phones. She could play two games at one time.
You can play yourself.
Right.
You don't even play solitaire on your phone?
I do have solitaire on my phone. I don't know the last time I've ever played it.
okay.
But do you guys count that as video games?
No.
Or like
No.
even Oregon Trail, I'm like, we probably had that at my school, but I don't know.
Now, we're not counting
Well,
solitaire
usually-
on your phone.
Usually you wouldn't, but I mean, that's something.
Something,
Right? Because,
yeah.
I mean, it'd be more strange if you've never played
Maybe
absolutely
we played
anything.
that. I don't know.
Keep this in mind about Janelle. This is one of my other favorite things about the Norwegian ox over there. One of my favorite things. She grew up with a basketball court in her backyard and never went outside to play once.
It's true. It's
What?
true. Like a full basketball court.
Yes.
Like regulation size basketball court.
Dude, I'm looking at you thinking you were a hooper.
No.
Yeah, you've got the size.
I'm a terrible athlete.
Or like volleyball or
Who
something.
put a court in your backyard?
Yep. I mean, yeah, my sister and I are both 5'10". My dad is 6'5". Never played basketball.
I would have ended up in the hospital if I had a full basketball court in my backyard. I would have ended up hospitalized
I would have been a D1 hooper.
Yeah.
I would have been a D1 hooper if I had one in my backyard.
We drew a lot of chalk drawings on it.
Oh, yeah.
That's disgusting.
Look, it's the Flintstones.
I am so embarrassed right now.
Did your parents put it in?
No, it was there when they bought the house.
Okay, I was going to ask if maybe they cried a little bit, like we spent a lot of money on this and nobody's using it.
I think there's a lot of dashed dreams in my family around that, but neither of us were good athletes.
Oh, your dad probably. He's 6'5", and he's probably thinking, I got a couple of girls that are 5'10". Yeah, they're D1 prospects. And he's probably thinking, that's just a waste. You know what? I should have been Shannon Sharp.
All right, my friggin' wife has texted me back on this now. I just said out loud, I doubt she's ever played a video game. She just does. I've never, ever heard her say, I've known her for 38 years. I would never heard her say word one about video games. She certainly doesn't play any now as we live together. So I asked her, you ever played any video games ever? She said yes. I asked her what games. And she said Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Knot. I think she meant Donkey Kong. Mario, Pong, and a game that she created called Get the Whores.
God, she hates whores.
She does.
Play that game. Started that game when she met you.
Yeah.
Oh, she also played Frogger. Okay, I didn't think so.
See, that's what I keep trying to tell my wife, because we don't do research.
You don't do research?
Men don't do research. Women know everything about us.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Women, we don't know anything about them.
All right.
Nothing.
You know, you have a point. Earlier, I said my wife went to Minneapolis North. She texted me and said, we've been together over 20 years. You don't know where I went to high school.
Oh, man.
She went to Minneapolis South. Yeah. And after I said it, I even thought, wait,
is that right?
Is that where she went? And I knew I screwed that up. And she texted me about
because it's not important.
Right.
It's not important when you what's important is that you love me and I love you. That's
she was
all
not
men
a
care
polar.
about.
She was not a polar. She was a tiger.
So actually, we got in a little something over you, C. Willie.
Hello.
We were talking. The family was talking about you, and I told them again the story about how great it was to see you. And, talking about my wife, saying, yeah, we had a lot of fun. She's like, I didn't go with you to that. And I'm like, yeah, you did. And she's like, no, that must have been somebody else. And this is a true story. And I told her, I'm like, well, to me, every memory I have, you were there. So it's not like I'm, thinking of some other chick or whatever. But and I do think she was there, and she's misremembered. I don't know what's going on there.
On the boat?
What's that?
On the boat? Last couple of years ago?
No. When you opened up for Damon Wayans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
when I first saw you, and I get you.
She
told me she wasn't there, and she got mad at me, thinking,
Right.
I just misremembered.
You were there.
I've made that mistake so many damn times where I've said, hey, remember when we went and saw that movie? And then, no, that wasn't me.
One of a woman's favorite thing to do, though, is to be like, nope, must have been a different girl. Must have been a different girl.
What's wrong with that, out of curiosity?
But you know why they do that?
Because
they know for a fact you don't know for sure. Sometimes they do. My wife did that to me, and I had to literally prove it to her that she was there with me, because I remember exactly where we were. I remember where we parked. That was the one thing that I remembered, and I remember who was there. And I called them on the phone. And you're talking about something that happened 22 years ago.
Yeah, that's what our situation
And I called up Cleveland, and his name is Cleveland Barnes, and I called him up, and he said, yeah. I said, who was with me? She was on the phone. He goes, Lucy. That's my wife.
Yeah.
And she goes, I was? I'm like, you know you was, but you was banking on me not knowing.
Yeah. So if it happened a month ago, and she busted me, I was there with another girl, that's one thing, but it's just 20 years, whatever.
It's silliness.
I just assumed she was there.
They want to pretend like we didn't exist until they showed up.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous, and it's not worth your time. We're running very late here. We got to get going again. No.
No, thank you. It's so nice to see you guys.
Thanks very much.
Always great seeing you guys.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
So who are some of the unluckiest people to ever live? Some of these might sound familiar to you already.
Yeah, that one dude that got struck by lightning twice.
Oh, it was more than that.
It was more than twice, Wapple. Some of you might be familiar, but it's still pretty fascinating stuff. And most of these folks who are considered some of the unluckiest people to ever live, most of them can be considered lucky as well. And you'll see what I mean here in a couple of minutes. The unluckiest people in the world. This is one of the more elaborate stories of all of them. And it's a guy by the name of Henry Ziegland. Well, first off, before I get to Henry, let's cover the ones that I think you folks are already familiar with. A lot of our listeners are probably familiar with just because they're all-timers that come up every Friday the 13th and even in other conversations. The dude who got hit by lightning, and the correct answer is 7 times, Wapple.
Okay.
And a lot of folks are already texting in about that scene from The Great Outdoors. Sure, I get it. 7 times, a fellow by the name of Roy Sullivan was hit by lightning. He was a former park ranger. They called him the human lightning rod. In a particularly unlucky period of his life, he was struck by lightning 4 times in 5 years.
I forgot. We talked to a listener who was struck twice by lightning.
Right.
That's where it was from.
And when this Roy Sullivan got an erection, Josh, they said it was a dangerous situation for everyone in the room.
Man. Oh, I'd be worried about the ejaculation more than just the erection.
Just
everyone in the room. Okay, the lady who lived in Louisiana, and every time a hurricane popped up, it would suck her house into the sky and spit her out into the street. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Her name is, I believe she's still around, Melanie Martinez. The unluckiest woman in America is what they call her.
Wouldn't you just move to Iowa at that point?
Well, what can you do? She probably ain't got a pot to piss in. There ain't no moving.
True.
Living in Louisiana, she lost 5 houses to hurricanes. That's across a span of 50 years. And maybe the most interesting twist on her story, in 2012, that was the last house that she lost. And I think this is how the story goes. And then a reality TV show heard about her, felt bad about her, came to Louisiana, built her a new house, and then that effing house got sucked up by a hurricane.
Oh, my God.
That's awful.
Let's see, what are the others? Oh, the lady who kept getting on ships and then they'd sink. Violet Jessup. This is back in the friggin' late 1800s, early 1900s. She was an Irish lady. She worked as a ocean liner stewardess. So she was on the Titanic. Of course, that pig sunk. She was on a couple other ships that sunk. And they started giving her the nickname Miss Unsinkable because she lived through it. And she lived all the way to 63 years old. I guess that was old in the early 1900s. So this is part of the reason why I say these people can be considered unlucky and also very lucky that, sure, they had these terrible things happen to them, but a lot of them lived to tell the story.
I don't think I would get back on a ship if it sunk once. If I experienced that once.
That was how she made a living, though.
I know, but...
And at the same time, in the late 1800s and 1900s, I don't know, people just weren't afraid of stuff.
Pardon the pun, but they just went along with the flow.
That's right.
Well, I survived that one. Maybe I'll do okay the next time. Nothing like that will ever happen again.
The lady
she was kind of hot, by the way.
Was she hot?
Violet Jessup. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was very attractive.
Describe her to me.
Brunette. She shapely. Did you ever see the picture of her? She's got like the big Red Cross dress, basically.
I haven't seen a picture of her. Was her skin a little wrinkled from constantly being cast into the ocean?
Very pruny.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very pruny for her age.
Yes. The lady who took the meteor to the side of the head.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Again, I'm rolling through the ones I'm fairly sure you know already or are generally familiar. And as far as the list of people who are considered the unluckiest people to ever live. The meteor, you remember this one? I guess she's the only person in history to have been hit by a meteor.
Yeah, you wouldn't think you'd survive something like that. If God throws a rock at you from outer space, you'd think you'd be dead.
Yeah. The meteor went through the roof of her house. Where is it? I lost it.
Well, it bounced off a radio.
Yeah.
And remember, radios back in the day were gigantic.
They were big.
We had a fake one at our house that was hollowed out, and my dad put like a turntable in there or whatever.
Sure, the old big box radios from the 19...
Kind of like a jukebox size almost. We had one of those things, and just the hollowed out, basically a shelf is what it became. But it bounced right off that and nailed her.
Yep, came through her ceiling, hit her radio, hit her upside the head.
The bruise she suffered is incredible. I've never seen a bruise like that before. The picture's in black and white, which might add to it, but holy cow, that was crazy. And this thing was big, too. Like maybe close to soccer ball size, it looked like, at least in the picture.
There are other listeners, by the way, Josh, who know what that Violet Jessup looked like, the unsinkable lady.
Yeah, do they agree?
Yeah, Tonka Tig Welding Jesus said he'd tap that.
That's good to know. I bet her family appreciates that.
All right, so now I have a couple more here on the unluckiest people in the world. These are the ones, at least they didn't sound familiar to me, and I hope you have the same experience. Back to where we started. Henry Ziegland. You want to hear a friggin' story? By damn, I've got one for you. 1893. Man. Henry broke up with his girlfriend. Her name was Maisie. He broke up with her. You want to know why? Because he had a side piece. That's right.
Yeah, people don't like that,
Even back in 1893, our great-great-grandfathers were going out and cheating on their women. Pig bastards that they were. It's very tragic here. So Henry busts the news out to Maisie that he wants to break up with her because he's got a side piece. She committed suicide.
Oh, no.
Awful.
Her brother, he also went by the name of Henry. Common name back then. He wanted to seek revenge against the first Henry I was telling you about for cheating on his sister. So he shows up and he shoots at Henry, part one, with a pistol. Henry, part two, shoots at Henry, part one, with a pistol. Misses. The bullet gets lodged in a tree. I don't know where it went from there, if they had a fist fight or whatever, or if Henry, part one, reported this to the cops. Probably not in 1800. 20 years later, now fast forward 20 years, Henry Ziegland, the cheater, is cutting down some trees with his son, and they come across the tree with the bullet buried in it. Remember, hey, see that tree right there, son? Yeah. The son bitch, remember the story I told you? Son bitch came over, shot at me, missed me. Bullet got lodged in the tree. The son says, yeah. And Henry Ziegland says, let's not just cut this one down. Let's blow the son bitch up with dynamite. So they light the fuse. They go 50 yards away to watch the tree blow up. The dynamite explodes, and it fires the bullet out of the tree, and it hits Henry Ziegland in the head, and it kills him instantly.
Oh, boy. Do you think the other Henry took credit for that?
You have to.
My plan came to fruition.
You have to.
I tried to do that, yeah.
That's one hell of a story. You ever hear about the guy who had some kind of a, how does a grown person say this? A computer hard drive. Okay, do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
I'm not entirely sure what that is.
Yes. I think many of us know what that is.
Yeah. Guy goes by the name of James Howells. He has been trying to find a computer hard drive in a landfill site. And folks here comparing it to folks in the story compared it to a needle in a haystack. The reason he's been trying to find this hard drive that got thrown in the trash, I guess that's the unlucky part, is somehow his computer hard drive got thrown in the trash. The reason he wants to find it, it has 8,000 Bitcoins on it.
Oh, man.
And they say at one point or another, that was valued at around $500 million. So for years and years and years, from what I understand, this James Howells has been going to the neighborhood landfill site trying to find this stinking thing. Well, how big is a computer hard drive?
They can be pretty small.
Yeah, very small.
Okay. He's pleaded with his neighborhood city council to allow him to perform an excavation project. And they keep saying, no, we don't care about your problems. We're not going to set aside, the daily goings-on at this landfill because you swept $500 million into the trash. I'm sorry.
Quit dumping things on top of it.
I'll tell you what.
feel like the world's biggest idiot.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's in the landfill, so it's probably crushed, too, now. Doesn't work.
You'd imagine there's all kinds of damage done at this point, yeah.
I mean, it's worth your time getting out there every single day, all day.
You'd be the guy that was out there every day?
For $500 million?
Is it still worth that?
I don't know what it's worth. I mean, it goes up and down so quickly, right?
Oh, okay.
It's still worth a lot.
I mean, it could be worth more. I mean, 8,000 Bitcoins?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And how much Bitcoin did you trade for a fake ID, Ashley?
Oh, like 130.
Oh, my God.
Maybe more than that.
You said it was like almost $1 million. You could have sold it or something.
Yeah, that hurt. Yeah, at the peak of the Bitcoin craze. Yeah, painful.
I never followed it.
My goodness, Ashley.
I know.
But how you going to know?
You could have called me. I would have bought you beer, Ashley. I'm older than you.
Josh, didn't you know someone during that time period who claimed, that's it, I'm rich. It's over. I don't have to work a day in my life, and I'm rich because of this Bitcoin gimmick, and then the next day it went the other way.
Yeah, this was Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
Yeah, he had a whole bunch of that, and I think he put 10 grand in, and his highest was somewhere close to $300,000. It was like in the 290s or whatever. And because he always wanted me to get in on this, right? He said, dude, you got to do it. And I thought, I'm probably missing out, but it's just I'm a little more old school, and I'm risk adverse, just to say the least. So I stayed away from it. But yeah, then he sent me another screenshot later where he was, I can't remember. It was a lot lower.
But at one point or another, didn't he call you and say, hey, dude, that's it. It's over. I'm rich.
Oh, yeah.
I'll buy you whatever you want.
And he was telling me, there was another one, and I know really very little about this stuff, so my information's coming from him. There's another one called Floki, and I think he moved from Dogecoin to Floki, and I don't know. It didn't – I haven't checked in with him in a while, but I'm assuming it's not going great because he used to kind of send me updates and screenshots, of what he was up to. But, yeah, at one point he was like – 290-some grand, and then it just took a dive.
So it looks like one Bitcoin is worth like $59,000 this morning.
Man.
I still don't understand a single word about it. But then again, I've never made much of an effort to understand it. So really, honestly, Ashley, you had some kind of Bitcoin in your pocket. You traded it for a damn fake ID. This is a true story, and now today it's worth $1 million or something?
Yeah, it was... At the time, Bitcoin and like the U.S. dollar, the exchange was equal. So they just because I bought it off of the dark web, they only use like electronic money like that.
So if you
whatever it is.
Ashley, if you still had 120 Bitcoin, you'd have $6 million, almost $7 million right now.
Yeah, win some, you lose some.
Oh, you lost some there.
Sometimes you lose big.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you spent on it?
Yeah, so I spent probably, I think it was like 130 or 140, so it was 140 bucks.
Okay, so I'm sorry if you already said that. There's a lot of numbers flying around.
That'd be $8 million.
So, I mean, is there a finders keepers thing? Because if I'm tempted to take a flight to a garbage dump and go start digging for this hard drive.
Ah.
Do you still know, are you still familiar with the person that you gave the Bitcoin to in exchange for a fake identification?
No, it was a random person.
Do you think that they have any idea What they're doing? What they're sitting on?
Maybe. I imagine so. It was like the website to get fake IDs from. Like everybody knew about it. So.
But did you have, an actual, like a full Bitcoin or just a portion of one?
No,
That's what people are wondering.
They were full Bitcoins.
Oh, you had that many full Bitcoins?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, man.
All right.
I got a friend of mine, was it GameStop? Remember the big GameStop thing?
Oh,
Everybody
sure.
was kind of inflating that. He lost quite a bit on that one.
Did he?
Yeah.
I've got one more here for you on Friday the 13th as far as the unluckiest people to have ever lived. And this is a Japanese guy. Oh, the last name is Yamaguchi. He was 29 years old when he narrowly avoided death twice in 3 days. Is he still alive? No, he died when he was at 93 years old. What a poke. That's a hell of a run. He was 29 years old during World War II. And before he died, he was the only official recorded survivor of both the atomic bombs that we dumped on Japan at the ass end of World War II.
Wow.
He was 2 miles from Hiroshima, 2 miles from ground zero, when that bomb hit the ground. He only suffered a perforated eardrum, and he had some burns on his upper body. When the Nagasaki bomb was dropped, he was there too. So after the Hiroshima bomb goes off, he says, well, this town is dust. I'm going to go back home to my hometown of Nagasaki.
No one's going to find me there.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, they weren't aiming for him.
No.
Yeah, I don't think our government was going, let's get this jacket.
This is the guy we're going for.
I mean, he just, it's time for me to go home. This is horrible. I'm going home. And it just so happens that Nagasaki was the next target. So he was part of that friggin' disaster 3 days later.
The story he told was, everyone's asking him about it. He's telling everyone, well, unless you experience it, you'll never know. I can't even describe it.
Josh is right. According to the story, he was telling other villagers about what he had gone through, and then they said, well, what's that whistling sound? The sumbitch was there for both of them, and he lived.
All right, Ashley, this might make you feel better. I mean, you tell me if this is incorrect. A lot of people are saying you couldn't have had 130 Bitcoins because they've never been that cheap. You had $130 into a part of a Bitcoin.
I have no idea. It was way before, they were worth anything.
All right.
That's all I remember.
Hey, Ashley, I haven't understood a word that you've said anyway. I'm on your side because I don't get at all any of that topic, of that subject.
Oh, my gosh. All right, so, again, I don't really know too much about this stuff. Sorry for the ignorance. Foundry Rat Jesus said, I had so much Doge in 2020. I sold it at the beginning of 2021 for a newer and nicer wedding ring for my wife. 6 months later, it rocketed. If I held on to them, I would have had $98 million.
Oh, man.
He said, I'm going to have to work another 30 years before I can retire now.
Well, these things happen.
The half-assed morning show backtracks. The 93X half-assed morning show. 93X.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.